teenage girls on their phones.
Oh, no, wait, it worked. It said we're live.
Oh, you're live.
We are live.
Oh, congratulations.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
That was nice and zero.
Okay, so far there are 0 people watching.
I don't like it.
But we might get somebody to come on. You just never know because we didn't advertise that we were going to do a live talk or anything. Oh, wait, we do have one person visiting. So, all right. So we got Leanne. I'm the first one. And Maureen is here. Okay.
Oh.
Hi, Violet. Hi, Suzanne. I didn't know if it was going to work or not. We had a lot of broadband interference or internet weakness. Hey, Debs. Hi, Robin. Hi, Lori. Lori's in Ohio. Hi, Claudia and Lawrence. If it's just Claudia, hi from Claudia. So we were just talking. Abby's having some friends over. They're doing gingerbread.
Or we did.
They did.
And we destroyed the kitchen.
And so they all wanted.
Destroy the kitchen.
Come on, you guys all come over,
kitchen.
come over here if you want to be seen. If you don't, then stay over there.
I'll be the internet star. Hey guys.
Good.
What's up?
Katie,
Introvert in the back.
tell us your fake name if you have one.
Oh,
If
I
you have
have labels.
one.
We've got Katie Cartwheel.
I'm Avery Labels.
We've got Avery Labels. We've got
I'm undetermined.
Abby. We've got
Undetermined.
I'm undetermined.
She's been asking
Undetermined.
for nicknames.
I
She
have been
still
asking
hasn't
for it.
gotten
You've
one.
been forcing.
nicknames don't just you get a nickname with a purpose. You have to there's a reason for a nickname. See, nicknames have to be sort of developed or whatever.
Developed.
So Katie Cartwheel, how are you this evening?
Great.
You know how she got her nickname? Doing cartwheels down the beach.
It happened.
They're very creative.
Very creative. Very creative.
My name.
How'd you
Came
get
from-
yours?
Oh, can't speak.
Weren't you playing with like a label maker?
No. Legos are fun to play with.
No, the binder. The brand is Avery, and that's where I got my name.
Labels.
Oh,
Labels.
Avery
Yeah.
Labels. Okay,
Labels.
me too.
I'm drawing my master.
Are there any boys left or have they all gone
They're
home?
all-
They're all
Yeah.
going home.
They all
Yeah.
have left.
They realized that we were insane. And
No, that happened. Some girls left too, though. Because the beautiful, perfect,
Are we
one
doing-
and only Hogwarts person.
Are we doing some sleepovers too or
I'm
this one.
I'm
Sasha,
sick.
hello.
Okay, we have one stay over. Everybody else is
I
going
wish.
home probably a little bit
Everyone's staying here
later.
Very late.
She
though.
dragged me here. I didn't even know I was
Hi,
sleeping
Bonnie.
over till my mom asked me, "Hey, do you want to
Abby's
sleep over?"
7, not Abby.
We have
Came at 7:30.
it's still pretty early. Everyone in the comments would be my alias.
I am so confused.
This deserves to be next to the Mona Lisa.
Right next to the Mona Lisa. Oh
I
yeah.
know.
Wow.
Curiosity.
Yeah, I like the way your stick figures. They're not all sticks. Some of them are curved. That shows some
Are you
growth.
erasing my artwork up there?
Yes.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
Ready?
I'm coming back, and that's going to be redone by tomorrow. You know it too. Whenever I
Yeah.
miss this, so I come in here every night. I come in. I have a daily schedule where I
Oh,
come
yeah.
in late at night and I harass him. And then I go up and check my drawing to see if it's there or not. And if it's not, I redraw it.
Redraw it.
And if
Trash
it's not,
this.
I go to bed.
You guys should play a game where you draw a picture and you try to guess what the phrase means.
You
Yeah,
know,
the green-
Hangman, basically.
No,
Not really.
basically try to draw a picture and see if somebody can guess what message the picture means or something like
so
that. That could
basically
be fun.
charades, but drawing edition.
It means I have no friends.
Yeah, I like that.
It
Yeah.
means you have no friends.
It means I have no
Yeah.
Finessing my way to the coffin.
Up it.
I like this.
This is
cool.
you're on. You're
This is
live
fun.
all over the world. People are watching you.
Hi,
and-
people.
People will be able to
I've
access
never known
this
life
after you're
before.
dead.
You've never been on the internet before?
No, I haven't.
Right now there
Really?
are
You've never looked on YouTube, Avery?
I mean, I
Because
have.
that's all you do.
there are
No one needs to know that. Where's
Help
my
me.
brush?
help me. I need help.
Who says this? What?
You're getting lots of highs. Create band names with emojis. Interesting.
What?
I don't know.
interesting.
Okay, so
Oh,
here's
emojis.
Joe. Joe is saying hi from New Zealand. What do
Oh,
you?
I thought it
Okay,
was.
nobody say anything.
Joe.
Hey, shush.
No, say-
Shush.
What temperature do you think it is in New Zealand where Joe Sanderson is?
Negative
right?
1,000.
Wait, Joe Sanderson. We got a John Sanderson.
Yeah.
And we
Whoa.
have an Emily Sanderson. What's going on? We gotta try.
Illuminati confirmed.
And then we have a Joe Deb.
Yes, I am, Maureen. Thank you. So what's okay? No, you guys don't want to guess what the temperature in New Zealand is?
Negative something.
Someone Google
20
it.
degrees.
About 20
Google.
degrees.
Wait, actually, where's my phone?
Google.
Abby, what do you think the temperature in New Zealand is?
0 degrees.
0 degrees. Okay, so this is going to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
this is going to be very shocking.
Oh, okay.
Very shocking. Joanne, tell us what the temperature in Fahrenheit is, if you will, in New Zealand where you are right now, or a close approximation thereof. Hey, Kelly, how are things in Connecticut? I bet it's cold in Connecticut. I know that.
Connecticut, I always like the
It's 90 degrees.
Celsius or Fahrenheit.
What?
21 C. We don't know what C means.
Celsius.
Hey Siri.
Quick,
90 degrees.
do the conversion.
You think we
Hey
paid attention
Siri,
in
what
third
is
grade?
21 degrees
No.
Celsius in Fahrenheit?
Wait,
That would be 69.8 degrees Fahrenheit.
69.
That's warm.
Okay, so the reason. Do you know what? Do you know
Wait,
why?
wait,
Do you know why it's so warm in New
Are
Zealand?
they close to the equator?
They're on the
Oh.
other side of the equator from us.
Guess that.
Okay.
So right now it's summer in New Zealand. Am I right? Is it still summertime? Right? It's summertime. It's summertime in New Zealand and Australia.
Can I go to
So
New
they
Zealand?
never have white
Oh.
Christmases there.
think you said something.
Is
They have-
anyone from Colorado?
It's summer. That's
Yeah, I
right.
saw a
So they're
YouTube
having
video where it
summer.
was snowing
Yeah, I'm
in
gonna
the
pretend
summer.
it's somewhere and take off my
I was like, what?
It's summer in New Zealand. That's right. Yeah, the game was called Pictionary. That's right. I remember that.
Dictionary. Oh, there's a game called Dictionary.
Joe says they go to the beach for Christmas. That's what they do for Christmas.
What? Oh, I'm going to Florida for Christmas.
Really? But that,
Yes.
it won't be warm.
I don't know where
Exactly. Gonna jump in the freezing cold.
Avery, you won't be able to
Florida
stay
water.
with us.
Well, it gets chilly, but in Florida, but it's not going to be cold.
That's a bad thing. I
Oh
like
my goodness.
snow.
Well,
How
yeah.
cold is it in Colorado, guys? I'm curious.
Well, you have to look that. Ask Siri or something.
Siri, how cold is it in Colorado?
If you're wondering why we have very poor, if we're sketchy, then I have 4 internet users right now that that are getting in on the discussion here this evening.
Well, we use our phones for everything. Did you know that Gen Z actually has feels most comfortable with 8 electronic devices around them, including like Alexas and TVs and stuff?
I don't feel comfortable with
Generation Z?
Z. That's
Oh,
what
Z.
we're called.
You're Generation Z. You're not millennials.
Yes.
You're Generation Z.
We'll say
Yeah.
something very
Respectful.
smart and then tweet
Respectful.
something like eating, eats away.
I am so confused.
Hey, Linda, we're great.
Chocolate.
We're-
Oh, at least
I'm
it's
not
chocolate
either.
board. I was so confused.
I would like a chocolate board. Chocolate boards are cool.
So we made gingerbread houses earlier. They
I
made
gingerbread
Can I
house.
get
So-
mine?
I
Mine is
just ate-
gorgeous.
I destroyed everything.
I ate
Avery destroyed our counter.
Unfortunately,
Hey,
some of the
it
best
was
artwork was
gorgeous.
eaten. It was
What?
some of the best artwork was eaten.
I made.
Hey, mine's still there. It's
I
not
ate
eaten because I
so
didn't kill
much
someone.
ice.
This artwork is not.
They either so they want pictures of the gingerbread houses, or they want to actually see the gingerbread houses. I don't know if you can move gingerbread houses.
this.
I'm gonna get
mine.
You're going. We're getting a gingerbread house.
Both of
Get the messy one.
You better get help. You better get help. These guys are great. So you, all of you are in 8th grade.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
technically, I'm in 1,000.
Is this
straight.
is this aluminum foil or
Yeah, I made that.
wow?
I'm using it for my stress right now.
So it helps.
You're
you-
welcome.
Midterms.
Yeah.
Did you use some kind of instrument to make this aluminum foil block? Because it feels really.
I hammered it.
You hammered it with
Yeah.
a board or something? Did you find a hammer in the
hammer?
barn?
Yeah, I just got a hammer and then just put it on the
We
floor
live
and
in
just hammered
Texas.
it.
Everyone here has a
Guys feel about
farm
this?
or a barn.
A barn? No, not everybody has a barn.
We
but
have a
lot.
barn, and the neighbor's building a barn across the street.
They're building a barn and a barn dominium inside the
like
barn
us.
too. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
what we're in.
That's right. We're in a barn right now. Oh, I'm getting pulled back. Don't make me fall over. So I thought it'd be fun if you guys wanted to talk about anything. I was just in the mood for chatting. It's been a great week, and
Are
so
we not good enough?
no, you guys, of course, you're good enough. You're fantastic. You're also all 8th graders, so you know.
He wants to talk about veganism, guys. Y'all think I'm annoying about
That's right.
it?
We could roll this like a dice.
Shut up, we're not talking about vegan.
Oh, it came up with this.
How's the DW? She's doing great. She's
Okay, Avery.
We got
skills here.
Uh-oh.
Labels is bringing in a
Wait.
gingerbread house for us.
It's
Hey,
only
that's good news,
hers.
Lori. Good for you.
so here's the
I'm getting
Okay.
mine.
I am not artistic whatsoever.
Who made this one?
That was
I'm
me.
getting mine.
This
I
is
was gonna
Labels
I'll go get
gingerbread
mine.
house.
That's one of 2.
One that you made 2 gingerbread
Yeah,
houses?
she's so
I
awesome because she and Katie did it. Because he and Katie
Ship
did
it.
together.
It's
Ship it.
That's pretty cool.
That was the first one.
You know what this side of the gingerbread house looks like?
the back door.
An unhappy person
That's from
or somebody that's shocked going. See, it looks like that's a little tooth there, maybe.
It's got to be a meme, okay, Caitlin?
It is a meme.
Let's make a meme.
Okay,
Yeah,
so let's
guys,
see the
make
other
a
one.
meme.
Okay, this is my favorite one.
This one is your favorite one.
Yes, it looks the
Is
best.
it because you stole from Austin?
Yes. No. No, shush.
Okay, well, first of all, I've got to tell you, as an architect, it seems to be missing some windows. I see a big apparent tongue.
It's a big red door, okay?
It's a house with a tongue. Looks like a tongue.
Oh, this is Abby's.
Okay.
Cody's right there.
Okay, so my only critique on that one is it needs some windows.
Oh, shush.
Oh, Abby. Oh, whoa. Okay. Now this
Ooh.
one has.
Show the side.
Wow.
Oh, I'm back.
Look at there. Okay, now that's a pretty cool
Yeah.
gingerbread house.
Kelly,
Okay.
picture house.
So how did you make the windows?
They were came with it.
It came. Okay, so this is like a gingerbread house kit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same thing with that one over there. The first
Yeah.
one.
Okay. All right. Well, it looks like it has a lot of Christmas lights hanging off of it.
Yes,
that is a lot of
these are
lights.
very non-Grinchmas people, unlike us.
Okay.
If you eat that, you'll go off your diet. I'm just
You're
letting you
not
know.
She's mean to me.
Wait, I have mine. I have
I'm
my
not
beautiful one.
All right,
Oh,
Katie.
Katie, brag about who you did it
Katie
with.
Cartwheel.
I
Okay.
thought it was Carvel Katie.
No. Oh, well, it could go either
It
way.
can go either way. Oh, look at that. Now this looks like
Beautiful.
some kind of elves or little mini
There's
Santa.
snowman.
Tell
Are there
them how about
snowmen?
the boy
I
you
mean,
did
no,
it
no,
with,
no,
Katie.
There's
There's
Santa. There's Santa.
lots of gumdrops on this one here. And what's
Wait,
this?
why
on-
didn't you say it?
Is that supposed to be a window on the back? What is that? Or is that just
It's
snow?
a glob. It's my dinner.
That's a dinner. Okay, so you seem to be missing some windows too.
It's my dinner.
No,
No.
I want it.
No eating the
Abby! No eating the art, Abby.
Mhm.
Abby!
Oh, this one's got some Christmas trees on the roof.
Yeah,
That's not really-
Yeah,
that's
they
my
ate all of the
hissy.
Christmas trees.
Yeah.
They ate all of them.
No.
I
Alright.
was looking for them because I wanted to put one on my windows, and then
you
they
said
were
that
just
you-
gone.
Oh, by the way, everyone in the audience, Katie wanted to tell y'all something.
Go ahead, Katie.
Oh, I made this with a boy.
Uh-oh.
The ship is real, guys.
The ship is real. They do everything
Oh.
together.
Put it on the
She'd
table.
rather talk with him than us, which is
That
really
is We're the
bad.
ones who invited
That's
her over here.
bad.
Hey, that's not. Actually, that's true.
I don't think our internet is keeping up with all the excitement because they're getting lots of buffering and screen freeze. So I'm sorry about that. We knew we were having a little slow internet, but we wanted
I
to.
was as well Callie. Oh, Kelly. Kelly? I don't know.
Which one?
I don't know.
Kelly.
Kelly. Okay.
That's Kelly.
I was questioning if I could read it or not.
So they're telling us that they're having that the internet stream is kind of jitter. Watch out for Charlie. She'll get those gingerbread houses. If
Oh,
she
we
gets.
know.
Bad
Right?
Charlie. No.
She was
Bad
the vacuum.
Charlie.
Mine's
No.
a pie, so.
This vacuum dog.
Too funny.
Go move you.
So I was just going to hang out with you guys. Okay,
I'm
so
taking
Joe's
the dog with me.
So Joe's getting a fine stream all the way in New Zealand, and Stephanie's
Guys,
is fine.
This is Charlie.
What's the red shirt say? It says Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas in script, which they don't know how to do. Are you
I
guys?
know how to do
Do
it.
you all, are you all learning to write in cursive?
They told us how to do cursive one, like for second grade.
I don't know cursive.
Keelan's handwriting's in cursive.
all the time.
So some kids.
Written.
So messy.
It's like Declaration
We know
of Independence.
cursive.
Messy. Declaration of Independence, Messy.
We know
Wow.
cursive.
That
Don't
was my
assume
doggo.
old man.
My doggo.
Here, be careful with Charlie. She's old. Come
Guys,
on,
what's your
Charlie.
favorite color? I'm
Come
curious.
here, Charlie. Yes.
They're not going to answer that. There's a buffer.
Okay.
Oh, my
Yeah,
bad.
no, they can hear you.
Yay!
Say hi, Charlie. Woof. Oh, that was very nice. Woof, woof. Oh, really? Woof. Too many girls? Woof, woof, woof. Oh.
She is a girl. She can't say
Charlie
she's
is a girl.
Oh, I know, but still, too
Oh,
many
let me-
young girls.
Let me tell y'all about what my dad did to
We're
my
the
dog.
same age as Charlie.
Oh, look, they heard you have the favorite colors.
Purple.
Meredith's is purple.
Oh, yay!
We need to learn
Yes.
cursive so we can read historic documents. Well,
Yes.
joke's on you.
We learned that in second grade.
Joke's on you. We
Oh,
learned
what
it in
kind is
second
it
grade
those?
and still couldn't
Charlie
read the
is a
Declaration of
she.
Independence.
Charlie's a she,
Wait,
children.
Stop pulling on my chair.
I
Oh.
can read the Declaration of Independence.
You write like them.
Charlie is Charlee. Charlie is
Let
a
me tell y'all about
she.
Charlie.
Charlie is a girl.
She's a she.
He wouldn't let me name her princess. Her name's Princess, not
No,
Charlie.
her
He
name
named
is
her Charlie. He
Charlie.
wouldn't let me name her. So we were at the car, and I earned this dog fair and square by being potty trained.
That's right. At age 3,
And he named my dog,
I did.
and then I had to take care of her. And I'm still upset that her name is not Princess.
Her name is Charlie.
I'm so salty. I wanted her name to be Princess. She
Oh,
acts
no.
like a
Yeah,
princess.
some salt packs that
I'm
you
so
have.
salty. I remember that car ride.
She doesn't act like a princess. She acts like a
Should we tell
diva.
the world?
Well, then rename her.
Abby, should we tell the world?
No.
For the world.
Okay.
Uh-oh, we have secrets. Princess Charlie.
Tell the world about Katie's
We don't
necklace.
have salt in here, I don't think. Okay, Charlie, let's get down.
Time to get down.
Bye, Charlie.
We did that at lunch today. We threw salt at each other.
Oh,
threw
don't
salt.
don't throw salt
No,
at
we
each
threw
other.
salt
So you can
packets
get
at
it.
each other.
It was all packets.
You can get salt in your eye. You don't want to do
We
that.
still
That's
threw
wrong.
bear
Oh,
salt.
one time I got
Archie threw very salt.
Salt is a gateway spice, so you know you start
Abby,
with
you have
salt,
to
and the
get
next
another
thing you
dog
know,
and
it's
call it
pepper,
Princess.
and then it's
They won't let
paprika,
me.
and it's oregano.
They won't let me get another dog and call it Princess.
No more dogs right now. We have Charlie, so we are.
Charlie
we are
would
full
feel
up on-
ignored.
we're
Charlie
full-
would feel like, oh, you're getting rid of me.
Oh,
No,
sorry,
Charlie already
Karen.
sleeps in my bed
That's
and treats
sorry.
me badly.
That's
Well, I've had
tough.
like 3 dogs and they've all died.
Katie necklace.
Stop.
Way to start off on the dark pattern.
I'm sorry, okay? It's true.
All 3 of my friends have very different personalities. One is made of glitter and rainbows
Oh,
and introverted. This one is made of darkness
no, she's
and
not.
gremlins.
That's mean. I hope your parents
She's
aren't
our free
watching.
spirit. Oh gosh, are they watching?
And she's the
Oh,
free
my
spirit
God.
that sleeps through every class.
Wait,
Or
what?
sleeps through
I
lunch.
wish I could do
Katie sleeps
that.
through run. She doesn't
I
sleep through anything
can't
else.
sleep
Katie,
at night.
Both of them are getting all the boys, though. Me and Avery are over here in the corner, like,
What's up,
hi.
guys?
Uh-oh.
Hi.
Start talking boys. There's like, shut up and be
No.
quiet and don't say
Shut up, I
anything.
hate them all. We all
Boys.
gonna leave.
This is a girls' channel. Okay, go out. Go away.
I can-
The
No,
other
they want me
day
to
I
leave
took over
now.
his channel.
Stop it.
The other day I took over his channel. He put his hat on me too.
Oh.
Yeah, I sometimes wear a hat. I do sometimes wear a hat.
He always wear a hat. It shows the power of the family if you wear a hat.
Really? I didn't know that.
Why are you pushed off the
That's why you
screen?
wear hats every day, isn't it?
No, I just like wearing
Ah.
hats.
I'm gonna talk about my.
You love the king.
I just like wearing hats. That's all. So, all right. So, what are you guys doing?
despise hats.
Why?
Hats
Whoa,
are the epitome
whoa!
of
What's
fuzz.
wrong? What's wrong with hats?
Hats are the epitome to fuzz.
Exactly. And my hair is straight. This takes a lot of work, guys.
My hair is curly. It takes even
Her
more work
hair,
than
I straightened
yours.
it and it's
Shush.
fluffed up again.
Hey, be careful. Another thing, we don't allow horseplay. That's a
Oh,
horseplay.
you know what? We were literally beating out each other up in the hallways, and the teacher just walked by like, "This is normal."
Okay, whatever. It's cool.
They're friends. They know. Me and Caitlin were headbutting, and we got.
Oh yeah, that was
Oh,
scary.
don't do that.
We were in unicorn territory.
So we wore unicorn onesies to school because that's normal.
It was pajama day.
Bye, Claudia.
And, we just
Claudia.
went.
I think we have
Bye,
one
bye.
sleepover. They just had a get together while they made gingerbread houses and have been out running around the pool and laughing and
gosh.
And
giggling
playing
and,
stealth music as we were looking for Abby.
playing music and whatever. As Abby, were you hiding or something?
No, they
No.
were in here. We didn't know where they were, so we were playing stealth music as we walked around.
Okay, all right. Well, all right. So you guys go do other things. We're gonna talk
We
medicine.
were in here first.
What's medicine?
What's medicine?
Yeah.
What
Yes.
isn't medicine?
Wait, no,
Okay,
Dad. Tell them
come on.
about
No,
the
I
veganism
like
thing.
these people.
I don't like these people.
I
They
like
scare me.
these people more.
Rude and go.
I can't see
What do you
them.
want to know about veganism?
Tell
I'm
them
leaving.
about
Bye.
how it prevents
I
cancer.
like this.
Uh-oh. We've got more people.
Who's this?
I told you, new parents would show up if they found out you guys were on the internet. We're doing a little live broadcast
on-
with some of our friends online, and so they decided they would come get in the picture
Oh,
No,
with fake names.
I'm the star of this show.
We've
Just
got
kidding.
Katie Cartwheel. We've got
Hi.
Labels. We've got Abigail. That's her fake name.
and undecided.
Sure.
And we have
And
unknown,
I'm unknown.
undetermined.
I have no face.
She came this weekend to be given a nickname and still
people around the world.
People around the world. We do a support
Socks
group
got a
for
nickname for you.
nutrition
I know
and,
Socks got
and
it.
intermittent fasting. And so on Mondays and Thursdays, Oftentimes we get together and we do as much as 2 hours and we talk about yeah. And sometimes I
done
just
more
come
than 2
online and
hours.
answer questions and things like that.
You're kind of like answering questions. It's kind of
Sure.
like a group chat. Kind of
Yeah,
thing.
sure.
Well,
And
go
so
check that
Cool.
out.
right
live
here we've
stream.
got a chat. So people, almost everybody here is a regular here tonight. So they're just saying hi and.
They send cat memes.
Sometimes
to my
I'll post a video during the day and they'll
Right,
ask questions about the video, and so we like to talk about
Just
that.
kind of related to nutrition and things like that.
We do a lot of nutrition talk. We've had several guests on. We've had a fruitarian on the other day who travels the world and does fruit festivals and prepares
That's
meals
cool.
for.
Yeah,
We've had
yeah,
other
it is
experts
cool.
on
Right.
talking
want
about different
popcorn.
ways to eat and things like that. So
We already ate all
yeah,
the popcorn.
I'd like to share my story. I've dropped 50 pounds
I
this
could
year.
tell.
Yeah, I've lost a lot of weight,
Oh,
and
didn't Callie give you a bag
Because
of
I saw
popcorn?
you
You
at
have a
church
review
and
back
I was
there.
like, I think that stopped you. Wait a minute. Now hold on. That's second-guessing myself.
If they check your phone.
And then my Aunt Susan said you went on like you're a
whole
vegan.
food plant-based or vegan. Yeah, so I
And
went
you said
vegan.
You dropped like 50 pounds.
I've dropped 50 pounds since February.
So you doing like aggressive workout or just?
No, I can't work out. You know, I've
had
had 2 big neck surgeries.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'm not able to really exercise at all. So for me, it's all
No,
about
shush.
changing the way I ate. And the thing that I learned was that by giving up animal products, the weight just comes off. It's almost impossible to be overweight.
Come on, I'm stuck here. Oh my
But
Yeah.
like,
It's hard
Yeah.
risk of heart attack by 65%.
but like, so like no chicken, no meat at all.
No
No
meat,
animal
no animal
products.
products. So that means
So-
no cheese, no
Animal
So what do
yogurt.
you do for protein?
So that's the great question. Perfect. Protein is
So
available
that
in
a
all your
question?
vegetables. No, that's a common question. It's a common, and everybody who eats vegan gets that question. You know, and it's almost like in the first few minutes, like, well, where do you get your protein?
Right.
And the reason is there's an American mindset
Okay.
that we have to eat meat to get protein, and that's not true.
That's not true.
It's
Okay.
absolutely not true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so as a result, a lot of people eat more protein. They eat more animal products, thinking they're getting healthier and getting thinner. And what they're doing is they're layering their body with plaque. So we're getting heart attacks earlier. We're getting coronary heart disease. The other thing that eating animal products does is it leads to insulin resistance. So eating a lot of animal products leads to diabetes.
Right.
It also confuses the body's immune system, so it causes autoimmune diseases, everything from rheumatoid arthritis to lupus to you name it. So we're seeing an increased rate of all of these things, including diabetes. There's an epidemic of diabetes right now. And so what everybody's being told is, well, to stop diabetes, you got to cut your carbs and you got to eat more lean meats, right? And that's what causes the diabetes. So we're seeing this explosion because there's this great cloud of misinformation out there in the internet in the world.
No, I'm very interested in that. I mean, you look terrific.
Well,
I
thank
mean,
you.
I mean, I could lose probably 10 or 15 pounds.
Well, you're a pretty thin guy, but
I know, but you know, the older I get, it gets tougher. I'm
it
not
does
gonna
get
lie.
tougher. There's a great book that we recommend. It's called Proteinaholic, and it's by Dr. Garth Davis. He's a bariatric surgeon downtown here in Houston, and I recommend it for people to read who are interested in learning a different way.
Right.
In fact, I had a patient in today who's been working on weight loss for 3 years with me through a medical diet program. And I recommended to him last time that he go ahead and get this book. And he brought a hard copy of it today. He says absolutely changed his the way he's looked at the world. He's already dropped 168 pounds. And so for him right now, he's on a weight loss diet, but he's concerned as he gets closer to his goal. And he's still got a few pounds to go because he's a big guy. He's 6'4", and he's still in the 270 area somewhere there. So he still needs to lose some more weight.
Yeah.
But he looks like a new person.
Yeah.
But he got the book and he asked me to autograph it for him. I said, well, what do you want me to autograph it for? Because you recommended it. He said, but after you, I'm going to take it downtown. I'm going to go meet Dr. Davis and I'm going to ask him to sign it. So he's going to take a day off from his schedule.
What's in the book?
Proteinaholic. It's a great book because it actually takes the science of whole food plant-based eating, and then it integrates it into more layman terms. It's easy to read. It's fun to read.
Right.
And it presents the science in a really easy to understand manner.
And you started doing this in February?
In February, yeah. No. And in fact, since February, I've come off of 5 medications.
Is that right?
I was on 2 inhalers. The meat products, the animal protein was causing me to have asthma, so I couldn't talk without having to stop and catch my breath or use inhalers. So I've come off the inhalers. I was on 2 blood pressure medicines. I'm off of those.
Wow.
And I was on a cholesterol lowering medication. I'm off of that too. So
Do you feel You feel better?
I feel much better, yeah.
And,
I feel fantastic. Of course, I take some really good supplements too.
Right,
My
right.
supplement line, I take
Right.
my Meta 7, I take my multivitamin, and I take turmeric as a natural anti-inflammatory, and I also take a hair, skin, and nail product that helps me with my nails.
So the thing on protein, is there any protein? And do you have like a supplement?
Nope, not necessary. Everything that you need for your body is available in fruits and vegetables.
Really?
Absolutely, you do not need animal products.
So
That's
this
it.
whole idea that you got to have protein to
Nope.
survive and live, that's just
Nope.
not, it's just a myth. It's
Well, you need protein, but you don't need animal protein, and that's where we're.
You should look up the list of the amount
Yeah.
of protein that vegetables have. I was shocked.
There's a lot of-
protein in vegetables? I didn't know that.
Lots of protein in
Really?
vegetables. Oh, protein. Vegetables are loaded with the vitamins and minerals that we're not getting in our diet on a regular basis, and you get plenty of protein in your vegetables.
Right.
So I went an immediate change. I did a little fast, and then I went on a whole food plant-based diet, and I've eaten nothing but vegetable products, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and grains since February.
Wow.
And
No
the weight
fish,
just
nothing.
no fish, no, and the weight's just fallen off of
You
me.
had, when you first started, did you feel like that hunger urge?
No,
at all? Did you
no,
ever get
not at
that
all.
Craving?
See, the good thing is because I'm not eating cheap calories, because I'm eating calories with lots of nutrition.
You're eating.
I-
You're eating. Good calories.
I'm eating
Not
good
like,
food. I'm eating good food. So, like this evening, I had some lentil soup, which
Right.
lentil is a kind of in the bean family. And so I had some lentil soup, and it was delicious. Probably 200 calories or so in the can. I sometimes will do a can, but mostly I like to do fresh stuff. So for me, like if I want a snack, I'll slice up some tomatoes or green peppers
Yeah.
and dice them up and put them in a spinach wrap, and I'll eat that. Fabulous, just delicious. So
Wow.
yeah, so I don't eat the cheeseburgers. I don't stop at the restaurants. None of that anymore.
I like drinks, and I'll probably drink a lot of water because water is always good for you. You know,
I don't drink more water than I used to.
You know, that's
No,
like-
not necessary.
Yeah.
Nope. I think we scared the girls off. Girls are all gone because they don't want to hear the medical talk. But if you ever want to talk to me more about it, yeah. Yeah.
I can tell you. I mean, you were never I thought an overweight guy.
But I was. Yeah. And that's the thing, is because in America, we're so used to seeing everybody being overweight or obese that we think that's normal, and it's not. It's really not. Yeah,
If you
that's
go to
right.
other countries and see how they eat, and you know they're thin for a reason.
Right. That's right.
And
That's
they-
right.
You know, I think this country has the highest risk of cardiovascular disease and all other kind of.
And diabetes.
We-
One in
and
three.
diabetes is a concern for me because it does run in my family. My
Okay.
dad's a diabetic. My uncle, not my uncle Ron, I don't think he's a diabetic, but my other uncle is. My grandfather's a diabetic, and so
Mhm.
that's every time I go see, and I think you mentioned to me before when I've gone and seen you. That man, it's something you got to watch. You got to watch because
Mhm.
it's proof it runs in my family.
Right.
It's something that I just turned 39, so
Yeah.
I think when I turned 40, I think you told me when I turned 40, I started having more tests. Like,
Well, we want you to start coming in once a year for an annual
Once a year.
physical once you hit 40. Yeah, we really do. When you're under 40, when you're, say, 30, 35, we like you to come in once every few years just for a spot check. Yeah. Yeah. So I was pre-diabetic. I was pre-diabetic. Yes, I was. And one of the ways that we measure diabetics is a test called an A1C, which is a 90-day average of your glucose. Now, my number was 5.9. And what that means is I was running somewhere around, averaging probably around 120 to 130 on my glucose levels. Normal's 100. And so when I went whole food plant-based and gave up the meat and started only eating carbs, my body became more sensitive to my own natural insulin. And as a result, my A1C dropped from 5.9, which is in the pre-diabetes area, down to 5.1, which is completely normal. So I cured that pre-diabetes. And what I'm working with is people around the world who have type 2 diabetes, helping them learn that by changing their diet, they can actually cure their diabetes, type 2 diabetes, which is 95% of all diabetics. So
Well, and kids are projected after the year, kids born after the year 2000, it's projected that 1 in 3 are going to be type 2 diabetics.
yeah, so we really need to get that message out there, because people just don't understand that we keep thinking. And I've had discussions with patients for as long as 20 minutes talking about what they're eating and really kind of laying out with them all their meals and how they're eating meat all day long, and cheese and milk and all of these things. and they're getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And they've got to reverse that process, and then had them at the end of that discussion say, well, I guess I better cut the carbs. They don't get it. They don't get it because it's so hard. It's so unusual a concept that they can't even accept that it doesn't even go in.
The way our society is either low calorie or low carb.
Yeah.
Low calorie or low carb.
And so
when you're eating vegetables,
you are low calorie. You're eating low calorie. That's right. And so I do not count calories at all, and I haven't. And for the last probably 3 or 4 months now, I've been right at 199 to 196 in that area, where I was running over 240, 247, 250, 251. And the only problem I had is I did have that neck surgery. I had that neck surgery a few months ago, and I was on steroids for a while, and it made me puff up for a little bit, but that's all come right back off. So
your face is thinner.
Yeah, a lot thinner. Not thinner. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, thank you. Frank, I appreciate it. So if you ever want to know more,
I'm interested. I mean, I don't know.
we do.
This whole no animal thing sounds kind of scary.
It is because because the great question then becomes, what do I eat? And what's funny is when we would talk about meals before this all started, and we'd say, I would come into the kitchen or come into the house and say, all right, what animal are we going to kill tonight? Are we having cow, chicken, pig, or fish? Which was it? And so now it's we've got this whole variety of vegetables, and we just. Yeah, and so Abby cooks a lot.
I'm still eating meat because I ate all grains, so I gained weight. I didn't do it properly. I'm slowly coming around. Yeah. But I've got about 20 pounds to get off.
Yeah. So 7.1 is not a terrible A1C, but if you keep working at it and if you stick with a whole food plant-based diet, you'll see that A1C come on down. So here's a person who's 7.1 and is type 2 diabetes, but with continued work on sticking with a whole food plant-based diet. And I say whole food because we want to stay away from packaged foods. Okay. Processed foods we want to stay away from. Right.
By that, you like stuff you throw in the microwave for 5 minutes and it's ready.
Right.
That's all considered packaged.
Packaged stuff is less desirable, but it's better than eating animal products. But it's almost impossible to get packaged foods that doesn't contain some kind of meat anyway. And what I find amazing too, even today, is going out to restaurants and things and just trying to find something to eat. Sometimes I have to say, look, I want you to go back. I want you to talk to the chef, and I want them to find vegetables that haven't been touched, throw a bunch of them in a pan, heat them up, and bring them out. And that's what I'll eat, and just figure a price for that. And they'll do that for me. But not every restaurant, but there are lots of good ones out there too. So that do have a lot of vegan options. I just found out the other day that Smash Burger actually will let you go in. You can buy an imitation meat burger.
Black bean.
It's a black bean based burger patty. Yeah.
French fries, they have Brussels sprouts.
Brussels sprouts instead of fries. Yeah. So it's catching on. It's catching on.
Really don't make you anything.
That's right. You taking all the stuff back? You taking Katie Cartwheel away from us?
Oh, yeah. We're going to Galveston tomorrow to Moody Gardens.
Awesome.
Lights and stuff.
Awesome.
We're gonna see lights too.
We were gonna try to go fishing, but we have a big Christmas party we have to go to tomorrow. We get to go to tomorrow. Oh, wow. That should be exciting. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back here momentarily. Stop by anytime or holler at me. If you on Mondays and Thursday evenings at about 6 o'clock, we do a live discussion. If you just go onto my YouTube channel, John Gilmore MD Vignettes, and you can plug in and just watch and listen to the discussion.
You're discussing with people that are doing
Yeah.
the same thing you are.
People bringing up questions and talking to them how to make the transition. Some people transition immediately. Some people it's a gradual process. Dr. McClendon at my office over the last few months has gradually been converting. So now he just avoids meat. He still takes a bite once in a while, but he is like probably 90% vegan, and he feels better. His labs are all better. His kidney function's better. My kidney function doubled when I went. It was just amazing. So
it's amazing how the body can turn itself around once you start putting the right things in it.
Well, I like to tell people God put Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, not the feedlot of Eden.
Right.
So
That's a good analogy. But,
yeah, right.
Things that really kind of here lately with Ronnie, it kind of gets my attention. With he could have done anything to prevent what he has, but It's just
You just don't know, though.
just don't know.
You just
You
don't
know.
know.
You don't know.
Is he feeling okay?
Well, he is. He's
Good.
We're not getting good news.
Well, I knew it wasn't.
I don't know if he's been keeping you updated or not.
Susan was in the other day, and she kind of updated me, but I knew as soon as we made the diagnosis,
They went Monday to get some more results from another scan he had. I guess this was a more in-depth scan they did.
PET scan, probably.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
His liver, he's got like 50 tumors in his liver.
Wow. So it's all over.
And he came and talked to my brother and I afterwards, and you know, surgery's obviously off the table.
No.
That late. And they say chemo, we can do chemo, it'll buy you maybe 6 or 8 weeks more.
Yeah.
And so he's like, well, the doctors are telling us to focus on quality of life. Now he goes back Monday to have another set of doctors look at it again, but you know, it's not looking good, honestly. And
it's not.
You know, and I don't know if he started having pain. I guess was it here? Pain here? I guess I don't know. Where's your liver? Here?
Close. That's where your pancreas is. Well, it was a routine set of labs that we got initially, and then we followed up on an unusual set of liver enzymes.
He was having some pain in his ear, I think.
Okay. Well, he didn't tell me about that. If he did, it was all part of a routine physical. But then we picked up the unusual labs, and then we came back with a CAT scan. And I believe that was.
I don't know at that point if it was already his liver or not, or it's or how fast growing this cancer is. I don't know. I don't know if this maybe it was all the whole time it was in his liver. Just having this more in-depth scan showed it more. I don't know.
With pancreatic cancer, you just don't know.
Right.
It's a very difficult cancer to cure.
And the thing in the liver, you think about the liver, that's a filter for your whole body. And
it's true.
To go under an aggressive chemotherapy, without your filter working correctly, just like everything just gets jammed up.
Yeah. Well, he knows he can talk to me if he wants to. If he wants to ever run anything by me, now that he's down at MD Anderson, we kind of just say, "Hey, we're here in the background now, and if you need us, let us know."
He's optimistic. I mean, he has a good attitude about everything.
Good.
And, it's hard on my aunt. It's tough. Going from you think you're fine and have a little stomach discomfort or whatever, and then find out you may have months to.
Yeah.
That's a bad cancer, and that's one that they haven't made much headway in, unfortunately.
No, it's not.
It shows no detection until it's stage 4.
There's almost never any symptoms until it's too late. So almost everybody that has pancreatic cancer, same with renal cell carcinoma, different kidney cancer, almost everybody that gets it and survives, we find it accidentally.
Right. Exactly.
It's something else. And by the way, there's a spot here we need to follow up on. And then they go in and they do a resection. And guess what? But we got it all kind of thing.
They don't really, there's not really any proof of what actually causes it. They can't say. It's just, older people tend to get it. Like. I've known younger people.
Patrick Swayze had it.
He was in his 50s.
And but that's still not that old. He's better not be. I'm 54, so
But just keep them in your thoughts and prayers.
I will. Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
I know my aunt she probably bugs you all the time.
She's not. She thinks she bugs me. She doesn't bug me. She doesn't bug me. Well, thanks for bringing Katie Cartwheel over. You guys have a wonderful time down in Galveston.
I'll get on your. What days is that again?
Mondays and Thursdays. And if you want the website, I'll send you the link, or you just send me a message and I'll send it to you.
Mate, you look great.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I bet you feel better. You look more
amazingly better.
You always look vibrant, but I know you feel better.
I always had lots of energy because I take the Meta 7 and I'm kind of a high energy person anyway. But
I can't sit still.
Yeah, I don't like to stay still, and I don't do it well. But I feel much better. Yeah. Just finding clothes to wear is the hard part.
Right. Yes. But you had to get a whole new wardrobe.
I did. Yeah. All right. Y'all take care. See you later. Bye. Okay. So you were told your keto diet. Do not do the keto diet. It will make your diabetes worse. Can you do your plan on $77 a month because you're very low income? I'm going to say it would be challenging, but I'm going to tell you that whatever you're spending right now, I'm just going to call you seeker. And whatever you're spending now on food, you can spend the same amount on a whole food plant-based diet and eat just as well, if not better. I have loads of questions to answer. I'm here to answer questions and whatever. This is viewer's choice tonight. Whatever you guys want to talk about. I didn't really have anything scheduled, and with all the girls running around, I thought, let's go online and see if anybody wants to talk about anything. And so here I am. You found out today, Karen, that doctor's receptionist is seriously ill. You all please say a prayer for her. She's loved and missed by all her clients. Karen, do we have like a name or anything? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Deborah. He just doesn't care. That's unfortunate. It just is. Brenda. So we'll write down Brenda, and Brenda will be in our prayers. And we just know that she's ill, so we'll put her on our prayer list. I'm gonna put Brenda, the receptionist. I think God knows who she is, right? So she'll be in my prayer list. So, yeah, Deborah. Sometimes I had a patient that came in today. She's 60 years old, been smoking her whole life. She's been a patient of mine for probably 15 years. And she came in and she was very upset. And she said, I had a heart attack and I was in the hospital. And I said, wow, you look pretty good for somebody that had a heart attack. She said, well, they just kept me one day. I said, did you get a stent? Did they put a stent in? She said it was too small to stent. It was the inferior, one of the vessels to the inferior part of her heart. And I, you know, and she was very upset. She cried and we talked and I hugged her and we prayed. And I said, you know, you and I have talked many times about some of the health decisions you're making. And I think this was preventable. And I think this should be a wake-up call for you, because you can still get up and you can walk around and you still have a chance to reverse things. Now, once you've had a heart attack, that part of your heart that's been damaged won't repair itself, but you can prevent yourself from having another larger heart attack. And you know, I told her, I said, I recommended that you make a number of changes, and I think now that you've had this happen, maybe you'll consider them more seriously. And certainly she said yes, and we ended the conversation on a good note. And she's going to start working harder to take care of herself, because she's so frightened about it all. I have to be honest. Kombucha is some kind of like an herbal drink of some kind. Isn't that right? I guess I should look it up. Somebody mentioned, it's been mentioned before. Kombucha. Kombucha. It's a kind of tea. I don't see any problem with that. I don't see a problem with that at all. It's a fermented tea. I don't see any problem with it whatsoever. If you like it and it's a tea, even if it's, do you make it yourself or is it bottled? As long as it's bottled right, it's okay. I don't think there's a problem with that. Let's see. Gastro doctor clipped your SOD, so now I have pneumobilia. Number one, what can I do for the pain? And number two, when do I need to be concerned about it? Your gastro doctor clicked your SOD. SOD. Did we talk about this the other day, Stephanie? Let me see if I have a note about you. I'm trying to keep notes. About everybody, so that I don't have to start from scratch every time. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with kombucha. I know I've had other people tell me they drink it and they like it, and I think it's kind of a South American drink, is it not? And it's fairly popular. Turmeric is fantastic for inflammation, Mary Beth. That's why I take it. Yeah, Robin, that's a great idea. If you're worried about is something okay, read the label. If it's full of things like dextrose and maltose, and then it's got lots of sugar in it. If it's really sweet, then it may not be a good choice, just because you get a lot of empty calories that way. Oh, sphincter of Oddi. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. So your gastro clipped it. Did they do it on purpose, Stephanie? Did you have an obstruction? Were you having symptoms of gallbladder or biliary disease? Because a lot of times what we'll do is called an ERCP, endoscopic retrograde cholangiopancreatog, whatever, ERCP. And what it is, they slide a scope down and they have a little piece of the scope that pops out and shoots dye through the common bile duct. And to get there, they have to go through the sphincter of Oddi, okay? And that's the sphincter at the bottom of the stomach that has to relax so your stomach can empty, right? So sometimes if I'm sorry, that's the pyloric. Excuse me, that's the pyloric valve. The sphincter of Oddi is related to the pancreas and the gallbladder. So you can have biliary symptoms. So if you had your gallbladder out, you were still having some symptoms, so they went in and they tried to open that up. My guess is, and does that sound about right? Several of those ERCPs. Okay, so yeah, so you were having biliary symptoms despite the fact that you no longer had a gallbladder. And so what they did was they went and they clipped it on purpose. They tried to open it up and probably tried to dilate it and weren't successful. So they actually had to go in and do a sphincterotomy is what that is called, so that your biliary system, the bile from your liver can drain properly, because otherwise you can get sick. You'll start having symptoms just like you had diabetes. So you have nausea, vomiting, a lot of nausea and vomiting, in fact. And so your question then was, let's see, what can you do for the pain? Well, the pain should resolve on its own. And when do you need to be concerned about it? I would think if the pain has gone on longer than they told you would have discomfort, then I would be worried. Also, if you start turning yellow, if you become jaundiced, if you start getting uncontrollable or what we call intractable vomiting or nausea, that should be a big concern. Or if you just start feeling non-specifically sick a lot, I would go back in and get your blood levels checked and have them take a look at you, because chances are if you continue to have problem with this, then an ERCP is not going to be enough. You're actually going to need an open procedure where a general surgeon would go in and maybe remove part of that duct area, or do some kind of revision with a graft of some kind to make sure that the bile can flow correctly. Let me go up here to Deborah. Your last MRI said you had significant T2 flare. Never explained to me it has to do with your MS. It can be, yes. So when you tell me you had an MRI, you have to tell me where the MRI, what part of the body. So you had an MRI of the brain, I presume. In multiple sclerosis is an autoimmune disease that is caused by consuming animal products. Your body gets confused with the animal products that you're eating, the proteins and the fats, and confuses those with your own natural proteins and fats, and you mount an immune response against the myelin sheathing, which are the coating around the nerves in the brain, and that's what multiple sclerosis basically is. You get sclerotic, or you get areas that they don't look right. It's almost like parts of the brain turn to glue. So now you have the pain of pneumobilia plus pancreatitis attacks. Yeah, so that's what will happen, Stephanie. So if you keep having the symptoms, you may need to consult with a general surgeon. And at some point, your gastroenterologist will probably, if need be, refer you to a general surgeon, or bring in a general surgeon to see what the next steps might be. Yeah, demyelination is caused by in many cases it's caused by an autoimmune problem with the immune system, and we see these kind of problems like MS more in women than in men, because women have better immune systems, and as a result, your systems are more likely to make that error, that critical error, and cause you to begin to attack your own body, whether it be the nervous system, whether it be the joints, like an inflammatory autoimmune inflammatory condition like rheumatoid arthritis, mixed connective tissue disorders, scleroderma, and there are lots of them out there. So Deborah, no wonder you're feeling better. And is that because you are eating better, do you think? I would think so. My best that I can get from what you're saying here is chances are is if you are eating better, yeah, Stephanie, you are welcome. And unfortunately for you, the best thing you can do is avoid high-fat foods right now. They probably told you to avoid greasy or fatty foods, which if you're staying away from animal products, that's easier to do, but you can still get a lot of fat in your nuts and seeds and avocados. So stay away from high-fat fruits and vegetables, okay? So I would stick to low-fat fruits and vegetables. Alicia, who was on the other day and did our discussion, She advocated she was very specific about a low-fat, whole food, plant-based diet. And so, yeah, less animal fats. Let me take it another step, Deborah. How about no animal fats? How about make that conversion to no animal fats and limit your vegetable fats? And I think that you will have fewer symptoms with your biliary system. However, if you are still obstructed, if you still have a stenosis in that sphincter, then the next step is probably going to be an open surgical procedure to fix that. Suzanne, you're down 12 pounds. Your TSH is elevated. Can you do anything naturally to lower your TSH? Suzanne, if your TSH is elevated, chances are the most likely reason is it means that your body is having to send more of a signal to the thyroid to get the thyroid to do what it's supposed to do. So the TSH just being elevated is generally not something of huge concern. It is a signal, though, that your thyroid may have to be working harder. So if the other parts of your thyroid panel are okay, then the TSH being elevated, if it's just slightly elevated, that does not necessarily mean that you need to take a thyroid supplement. However, if it's really elevated, if it's higher than 10, then generally we will go ahead and we will start a thyroid replacement program at that point from a medical standpoint. Can you avoid it by whole food plant-based? That's a great question. My answer is I don't know, but maybe. It won't hurt to try. Maureen, you have osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. What will help? Well, here we go again. Reducing the inflammation in your body and eliminating animal products will help you. If you eliminate your animal products, your rheumatoid arthritis will improve. If you take turmeric and you take flaxseed oil and you stick to whole food plant-based eating and you don't overwork your joints, that will improve the osteoarthritis. So two kinds of arthritis here. You have osteo and rheumatoid arthritis. They're really caused by different things. Osteoarthritis is more of an age-related wear and tear arthritis, whereas rheumatoid arthritis is a more serious medical condition where the body's immune system is attacking the synovial lining in the joints. So what helps will stop aggravating your immune system with animal products, number one, for the rheumatoid, and number two, for the osteo. Try to keep your body's inflammation level low. So keep your omega-3s up and take turmeric or eat turmeric. Is transverse myelitis a type of MS? No, not specifically, but they are similar processes. So you can think of them as being related. Transverse myelitis can be caused by a number of things. Autoimmune is typically what we look at. And we're talking, you start getting into that Lou Gehrig's disease field, which is a little bit out of my expertise area. But I would tell you transverse myelitis is often a demyelinating disease, which is mostly an inflammatory and autoimmune problem. Robin, let's see. Learn in your early 20s how easy it was to become an unhealthy fat vegetarian. Yeah, you can be a vegetarian and be very sick if you still consume all of the cow products and all of the chicken products. I know vegetarians who are very unhealthy because being a vegetarian is not enough. They load up on ice cream and milk, and because they think they need more protein, they tend to eat more of the beans and grains and things like that. And so they can be obese, they can develop diabetes, although it's more difficult, it can still happen. And that's why we talk about whole food plant-based and staying away from, eggs and butter and cheese and all of that. So yours was 103.4. Karen, was that your TSH? I believe you're telling us your TSH. That's a super high TSH. You want to fire your rheumatologist, cardiologist, and endocrinologist. I don't know that. I don't know that you want to fire your doctors. I think what you want to do is educate your doctors, and I think you want to adopt a vegan lifestyle and stay away from prepackaged foods, and show them that you can become healthier by eliminating the poisons in your body that are making you sick. Cookies chips, bread. Oh, the bread. Yeah, you guys know I've not had any bread in several days now. So I'm focusing, getting back to the basics of fresh fruits and vegetables where I need to be. And my weight today was 199. So I'm still staying on. Yeah. So I'm still staying under the 200, which is that's my hard barrier. If I go over 200, then I need to really work on looking at my diet again and what I'm eating on a regular basis. So your TSH was over 100, Karen. Well, then you have a significant thyroid disorder that needs to be addressed if it hasn't. I mean, you're way past probably what you can fix immediately with medications. However, over time with proper diet, you can see a significant improvement and you might get healing in that area. TSH, T3, T4, reverse T3. You need to look at all of the thyroid hormones. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, I've asked the DW just not to buy any more bread. So now when I do feel hungry and I wander into the kitchen, I'm reaching for a tomato or a bell pepper. This evening I had a little lentil soup. The other night I made a really nice dish out of onion, mustard greens, and mushrooms. It was delicious. I sprinkled a little grilling powder on it, and it was fabulous. So that was in 2008, Karen. I think you've kind of given me some more information about what's going on with you, haven't you? No, you haven't sent me an email. Okay, so I don't have a list. You begged for a thyroid panel and found another doctor to do it. So, yeah, thyroid, we call it the master hormone. It's a very important hormone. It's important for every other hormone in the body is dependent on the thyroid. And also your metabolism rate is important. The heart has to have the correct amount of thyroid hormone. And let me see, Deborah, if I got yours. So thyroid hormone is very important. I don't see it, Deborah. Did you email? When did you email me, Deborah? I guess I could open it up and see if you emailed from your name, I might be able to find it if I didn't see it. Let me remind everybody my policy on my emails. If you email me, I will reply. If I don't get to you in that same day, it's not because I don't want to. It just means I haven't gotten to it yet. Sometimes I'll get several and I'll work through them one at a time. And sometimes I can get caught up. So when did you send it, Deborah? And that'll help me. Let me just check here. See if I can find anything. No, I don't see anything. Did you put the MD in? Oh, from this morning. No. Wow. Okay. Let me put your address in and see if it comes up. I'll do a quick search. No, I did not. Okay, so chances are you didn't put the address in correct. Let me put my email address in. Some people leave the MD out for some reason. John Gilmer, MD@mac.com. Okay, so email me again. I hope you saved a copy of it. If it's in your sent folder, you can just copy and paste and then resend it. Okay, so it shouldn't be that hard. Salad weather there, making all sorts of wacky fun salads. That's awesome, Joe. You read an article that not all labs calculate thyroid testing the same way. Some labs and clinics use a very broad range, while others are more exacting. Okay, so here's how doctors are taught about thyroid labs, okay? So when we're doing routine physicals or we're just doing routine tests and we want to look at thyroid function, we will use generally we will order a thyroid panel, which will give us all the other tests, not just the TSH. When we have a patient who is diagnosed as hypothyroid, then all we need to do is follow the TSH because it is the most sensitive indicator of how well we're replacing thyroid in a low thyroid or hypothyroid condition. And that's perfectly fine. But if you haven't been diagnosed, it's not enough just to check a TSH, because a person can have low TSH and have low thyroid as well if the problem is in the pituitary gland. So just checking a TSH is often not adequate in a person who's having problems, and we need to find out if their thyroid is functioning properly. That is true. You want me to email you, Deborah? Okay. Let me get that email address. I'll send you an email right now. Copy. And let's clear that right there. And we'll see if you get my email from me. Sorry about that, folks. Waiting. I do have some slow internet happening here. Okay, it's not. Here we go. All right. To test. So see if you get this, okay? That way we'll know. You'll know you have it right. Yeah, questions like if you're trying to find out if somebody has adrenal fatigue versus hypothyroid. Oh, you're asking, is there a link between hypothyroidism and adrenal fatigue? I think if you have one, you're more likely to have the other, but I don't think there's a causation there. So a lot of stress to the body, whether it's emotional, spiritual, physical, can lead to adrenal fatigue. Hypothyroidism, not so much. But if we do see one, then we should be checking for the other. You're absolutely correct. Deborah, did you get it? No, your email it's saying it's undeliverable. So it did not go through to you. I don't know why. I sent it to you. Okay, so I guess if I put the .com at the end of Gmail, that might help. Let me try. There's no .com on there. Okay. So let's change that and put gmail.com. Test. There you go. Yeah, if you emailed me and if it didn't go through, you should have gotten. Yeah, I got to put a .com on it. I didn't see that. Yeah, if you email me and it doesn't go through, oftentimes your email provider it'll bounce back to you right away. It should tell you that I did not get it. So I'm usually pretty good about checking my emails throughout the day. It's one of the best ways for me to, to do business and to stay in touch with people is email and text messages. I have a lot of people that use the text message. Yeah, if it's not valid, it should bounce back. So, Deborah, if you sent me something, I didn't get it because it's not in my trash bin and it's not in my inbox, so I didn't get it. So my guess is you sent it somewhere else. There may be a johngilmore@mac.com that's not me, or you may have put something similar that just went someplace else and it just didn't come to me and you didn't get a reply or you didn't get a bounce back on it. But usually if you send an email to somebody and the address is wrong, you'll get a bounce back. That is not soda, in case anybody was wondering. Did you get the email I sent you, Deborah? Did you get the one I just sent you now? We'll check. Okay, so anybody, let's move on. Any other questions? Or did I miss some earlier? You guys probably had some earlier. Oh, Tracy, you asked, can MS be reversed by omitting meat? That's not enough, Tracy. You can reverse and you can slow down the process of MS by eliminating animal products. You can't just quit meat. You have to eliminate all animal products, proteins, meats, and fats. You've got to get it all out of your diet. I have a patient that we diagnosed earlier this year with MS. I suspected MS. I didn't make the diagnosis, but I strongly felt like she had it, so I sent her to a neurologist for the diagnosis. I saw her again in 3 months, and she came back and she said, "You were right. I do have MS." And I said, "Okay, did they put you on one of the newer biological medications?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Now I want you to listen to me very carefully because this is very, very important." I told her, I said, MS, multiple sclerosis, is an autoimmune disease. It is caused by the immune system being confused and now it's working on your brain. And the best thing you can do is adopt a whole food plant-based diet. And she looked at me and she said, that is exactly what my neurologist told me. So she's got a good neurologist who understands the link between our diet and autoimmune diseases. So last time I saw her, she was in for a completely unrelated issue, and she's having no symptoms of the MS. She is continuing with the whole food plant-based diet, or lifestyle, I should say, and she's also continuing with her medication, and she's actually doing very well, not having any symptoms. Can Seeker email me about her health issues? Of course. Absolutely. And you all can feel, you all are sort of like a little family. So if you want to email me, you go right ahead, and I will do my best to answer you promptly as possible. So please, you asked me what my favorite vegetable was. I really, is tomato a vegetable? I think tomato is about my favorite. It's supposed to be technically a fruit, but I think it's categorized still as a vegetable. I would say it's my favorite. I love bell peppers. I like them a lot. I love Brussels sprouts. I don't like them boiled. I like them grilled or baked. I'm very fond of those. So I'd say those were my top three. You're welcome, Joe. What will help reverse MS for a person who's had it for 20 plus years? The same thing that we've been talking about. You're talking about a severe autoimmune problem that's been in place for 20 years. I would say the number one thing I would do for a 20-year history of MS is make sure that they have access to the new medicines. These new biological agents that are coming out now are fantastic. There's one specifically for MS, and I'm not familiar with it because I don't prescribe it. We leave that one to the neurologists. But there are some awesome they're antibody-based products, so they attack the antibodies that are doing the damage. It's amazing what we're coming up with for multiple sclerosis and many of these autoimmune disorders and other conditions. We're being able to fight them with these. They're almost designer drugs, and they're very, very expensive, very expensive to produce. And it leads to higher medicine costs today, because some of the prices of our medicines that we're paying for, at least here in the U.S., some of that cost goes toward the production of new medicines, because on average, I believe it costs somewhere around $10 billion in the U.S. to produce from start to finish, all the way to marketing a new medication. So yeah, there's some great advancements. She did a drug trial. Not sure if she got to stay on it or not. Well, I mean, if she's not willing to go vegan, then she's not that concerned about it, because going vegan is not that difficult. So either that or she just doesn't believe. I think the biggest reason a lot of people won't give up their animal products is they really just don't believe it'll make a difference for them. And that's unfortunate, because it'll make a huge difference for most people. Just the conversation that some of you overheard that I had with a gentleman who goes to my church, and you know, and how startled and he was at the conversion that I've gone through this year by being vegan. And he has a strong family history, and he said so himself, so I don't mind saying it, his strong family history of diabetes, and he's been concerned about it. And we've been, you know, he comes in once in a while, and you know, we do some basic labs, and he's doing fine so far. But for him going forward, the best thing he can do is eliminate animal products, because that's what leads to diabetes. Let's see. She's an older hillbilly. Well, sometimes it's hard to get older folks to change their ways, just like smokers that have been smoking for 50 years. They feel like the damage has been done, so they're not going to quit, even though they know and they've been told many times that if they did, it will help them. Hey, Ruler, how are you? Good to see you. It is a choice issue, Robin. You're absolutely right. We make sometimes these small choices, and we don't think much of them. Whether, you know, what we decide to eat on a regular basis can make a difference. What can you do about lower back spasms related to degenerative disc disease? You can lose weight. That's about the number one thing. The number two thing is there are exercises that you can do. Stretching, you can work with a therapist. If you haven't done that, I recommend you do that. And that can help you naturally relieve some of the pain. But once you start with a degenerative spine, of course, I have a degenerative problem in my neck, and have had to have 2 surgeries, right? So And that problem is not going away. The only thing I can do is slow it down by not introducing inflammation into my body, and in fact choosing foods that are anti-inflammatory, such as the turmeric and the flaxseed. Now, I used to take the fish oil, but since I made the change with my diet, I don't take the fish oil anymore. But I do take flaxseed oil, and I also eat chia seeds, which are anti-inflammatory as well. And what I like to do sometimes with the chia seeds is make a chia gel. And what you do is you take 1/3 of a cup of chia seeds and you put it in 2 cups of water, and you stir it up, and you wait about 15 minutes, and it makes this really cool, gooey gel stuff. And then you just drink it. It has no taste whatsoever. Hey, Lori, I hope things aren't too cold in Alberta. Nice to see you this evening. Joe doesn't even know what red meat or seafood tastes like. Trust me, you're not missing anything. You don't need meat. Never had it in your life aside from chicken. Body freaked and didn't know what to do with it at first. That's awesome. That's awesome. Good. Yeah. So, Sue and I have worked together. When we found that we had this in common, one of the things I wanted to do is really help her build her YouTube channel, because I didn't want her YouTube channel to just fade off because she no longer had a cyst. And I said, people love you. You're awesome, and we want you to continue with your YouTube channel. I said, could we work together and do a kind of a wellness project, and I'll jump in, and and she loved the idea, and so it's been fun. It's not profitable from the YouTube standpoint, like from an income standpoint, but from a standpoint of doing something good to help others, it's extremely profitable. And I'm honored to be a part of that. And we're enjoying it, and but we continue with the same message, and that is whole food, plant-based. Eat foods that are healthy. Stay away from the bad foods, and become amazed at how well you feel and how much healthier you become, because your doctors will become amazed too. They won't understand why you're getting so well. Sorry, Kelly, I think that your buffering issue may be on your end, because I'm not getting anybody else really complaining about it. So it may be yours. So I'm sorry about that, bud. Warm Chinook weather, 9 degrees Celsius, no snow, high winds. Sounds like you want to be cuddled up in some kind of real thick blanket, maybe near a fireplace with some hot chocolate, maybe, or some hot cocoa or something. If you're eating fish, then you are introducing animal product into your body, and you will be less healthy than somebody that doesn't eat fish, but you will be healthier than somebody that's eating pork and beef. So if you look at the China study, and you look at the study of the Seventh-day Adventists in Loma Linda, California, they are able to stratify your risk based on your diet, whether you're strictly vegan, or you're pescatarian, or you're vegetarian, or etc. And they stratify this out, and it's amazing. You can determine what your risk factor is for coronary disease and diabetes and cancer directly based on the amount of animal product you consume. Going back from medical billing and coding, how hard will it be to find a job? Well, shouldn't be that difficult. The job market, we have more Americans employed today than in the history of the country. It's definitely a market for those that are looking for a job. So, I think clinics are banding together and working harder to find ways to get properly reimbursed. And so if you're good at what you do, you won't have any problem finding a job. Come on down to New Zealand, Joe. I would love to visit New Zealand. I always wanted to visit New Zealand. Have you guys really recovered from those earthquakes a few years ago? I've been curious. I know Christchurch got it real bad, and I wonder about that. Yeah, Sherry, you take natural thyroid and put another cat on the bed if you're cold. Yeah. It'll warm up in Texas soon, that's for sure. Fish are friends. My fish are friends. And when I go fishing, and I'm thinking about doing a Tom Sawyer huck fin on Sunday, and I'm gonna go pick up my boat tomorrow and maybe go fishing on Sunday. I haven't decided. I would have gone tomorrow, but we have a Christmas party, so I'm not going to try to beat it back in time for that. But maybe maybe go Sunday. Okay, Robin, you said, where can you read more about the wrist measurement and outcomes? I'm not familiar with that. Do you mean waist measurement? Maybe that's autocorrect. I don't know. Work from home. Karen says work from home coding jobs are numerous. There you go. Natural thyroid is there's a brand of natural thyroid called Natrathroid or Natrathroid, which is now no longer available in the United States. Armor, I think, is our last natural product, and it is pig thyroid. But when you're hypothyroid, you have two choices. You have a synthetic or you have a natural. And I have found that in younger patients, say younger than 60, I prefer to use the natural thyroid products. They tend to do better because they don't just get the T4, they get the T3 as well. With the Synthroid, for some reason, older patients seem to do better, and sometimes I have to add a straight T4 product. Yeah, waist. So there's lots of information about waist circumference and body types. A number of years ago, there was a lot of books were written about what your body style is and whether you were apple shaped and pear shaped and things like that. And I think some of that is interesting, but for the most part, I didn't really get a lot out of it. I don't think it's really that important. I think that if you eat right, you're going to be slender. If you go back and you look at old movies made in the 1960s and you look at the crowds, they're all thin. This obesity thing that we have and being apple-shaped and pear-shaped is a relatively new problem, and it has to do with eating is what we're eating. Natrathroid and low-dose naltrexone for Hashimoto's. Okay, younger than 60. Don't worry, 60 is the new 80, Karen. I'm sorry, the new 40. Been on synthetic thyroid for 10 years now, and you're in your early 40s. So if you are still dealing with some fatigue issues, you might ask your doctor to put you on a separate T3 product, T4 product with your T3. So let me see if I can get you a name of that real quick here. T3, T4. No, it's not coming up that way. Brands. It's not hitting my head at the moment. Yes, Deborah. Okay, I got it. I got your email, Deborah. But there are T3 and T4 products out there. Okay, so they're both synthetic. So if you're not getting the numbers that you want to get or think that you should get, have them supplement with the T3 and the T4. Okay, so you're human shaped, Joe. That's awesome. There's a condition out there used to be called Syndrome X, and now it's called metabolic syndrome. But I thought Syndrome X was scarier. I liked it. But what it did was it looks at your waist circumference, your insulin level, your cholesterol numbers, and it calculates your risk of heart attack, stroke, and diabetes. But basically, all of it has to do with your insulin resistance, and different ways of measuring this, but the solution to all of it is the same. It is to get thinner, and the way you get thinner is by either eating less or eliminating the animal products. You can eat less and continue the animal products, but you won't get healthier as much. You'll get a little healthier, but not a lot healthier. So if you go whole food plant-based and go vegan, it's very difficult to remain overweight. I will tell you that. It is difficult to do it. You can do it, but it's hard. You carry all your weight in your middle and you hate it. I'm sorry about that. Linda, you're just round. Okay. Good save. So thyroxine and triiodothyronine. All I can think of are the actual drug names, and that's not what you're looking for. I'm looking for a brand name for you. Brands. Let's go back to GoodRx. I love my GoodRx. I use it all the time because they do a good job of giving you. Okay, so thyroxines and then triiodothyronines are what I'm talking about here. So your Synthroid is levothyroxine. Levoxyl is one I prescribe a lot. These are your regular thyroid replacements. Okay. And your triiodothyronine is what I'm talking about. That's Cytomel. So if you're on Synthroid and you feel like that you're not doing well, have them add Cytomel. That's what I'm looking for. Sometimes we get a little spoiled because I have a pick list with my thyroid medicines and I just pick and go because I know what I want to do. So sometimes recalling them a little bit later. So you're taking levothyroxine. So Ruler, ask them if you're still feeling some sluggishness, some fatigue, but your thyroid numbers look okay. Ask them to put you on a low dose. It's about 5 micrograms of Cytomel, and see if that doesn't help you. So your endocrinologist is adjusting your thyroid frequently. Karen, you shouldn't need that unless you go through a body change. If you lose or gain a lot of weight, there's really no reason for your thyroid doses to need to be adjusted frequently. IBSD. What is good for IBSD? Check with Sue and find out a good probiotic can help. Antidepressants are helpful for IBSD. Paxil is very good for IBSD. The tricyclic antidepressants like amitriptyline are good for IBSD. We have some new medications that are out that are specifically for IBSD. They're brand new, so I don't remember the name. You'd have to look them up, but there are some good medicines. If you're looking for natural things for IBSD, I would tell you that meditation is helpful. Some over-the-counter products can be helpful. We find that in some people for IBSD, which IBSD, for those of you who don't know, it's irritable bowel syndrome, diabetes prone. So there's IBSD and IBSC. So there's constipation prone and there's diarrhea prone. And what's amazing is the same over-the-counter product works for both. And basically it's psyllium husk, or Metamucil is one of the brand names for that. But if you bulk your stool with Metamucil, it'll slow things down. It'll help prevent you from having to go to the bathroom often. If you have constipation IBS, then you can take Metamucil and it'll actually help you be more regular. So it sort of helps in both conditions. So you're losing weight, Deborah. That's good. Let's see. Look into magnesium. See, Robin, you were asking. You guys are going too fast for me now. Let's see. I'm going to skip. Hey, Sherry. I didn't see you come in. Hi. What's that when the MS was at its, well, that's when the MS was at its worst. Okay. And then you lost some weight and now you're walking. That's wonderful. That's absolutely fantastic. Tired all the time. Ask for Cytomel. Ask them if they'll try you on some Cytomel or switch you over to the pig thyroid, the Armor. Paxil, Deborah, that's right. Paxil can be in some cases very good for IBS-D. That's what I mentioned. That's right. Take venlafaxine, which is Effexor. That can be helpful for irritable bowel syndrome, and it's great for depression and anxiety both. 2 miles a day, that's fantastic. Now, I'm not as familiar with kiwi fruit, Joe. Whenever somebody asks me if they should eat kiwi, I tell them to leave the birds alone. I know what they mean, but that's my little humor there. I didn't know kiwi fruit was good for bowel issues. I think the chia seeds are great for regularity. Like I was telling you, I make a chia seed gel with 1/3 cup of chia seeds in about 2 cups of water. Wait about 15 minutes, and it makes a gooey gel. And then you just swallow it. Drink it. It has no taste, but it does help with regularity. It also helps with kind of a slow burn energy during the day. Kiwi fruit is delicious. Paxil helps with general anxiety disorder. Yes. It can be used as part of treatment for bipolar. Flaxseed, yes, is good for the bowels. Flaxseed, because of its antioxidant effect, is good for the whole body. Supplement called Flow, based on kiwi fruit, named for the purpose. Very interesting. No, kiwi fruit is, I like its tart. It's tart, but not too tart, and it's sweet at the same time. I like it. Okra. I don't eat a lot of okra because I like fried okra, and it's not as healthy. But when I was eating meat, I loved my fried okra. When I would go out for barbecue, I would get fried okra and potato salad along with lots of pork sausage and sliced brisket and a little bit of turkey just for the taste. Yes, that's right, Joe. Don't eat the kiwis. They're birds. That's not a bad idea, Karen. I might need to get okra, fresh okra, and throw it in the next time I make kind of when I put it, I use a tall pot and I put a little water in the bottom and I throw the veggies on top that are all sliced up. And so there's a steaming effect that I get, but I don't actually steam, but I could. Yeah, fried okra is fabulous, but I think it has too much oil in it. But I think you could say you can say fried okra is vegan, but as long as it's fried in a good oil. If you if you use an oil like an olive oil and you don't make it too hot, it could be okay. But you're getting lots and lots of refined oils, and that's where the whole food part of whole food plant-based eating is. When you start using vegetable oils, you're no longer dealing with a whole food. That's a processed food. Kiwis are also the indigenous people of Australia. Cannibalism is bad. Yes, let me just be completely honest with you all. Cannibalism, we do not support cannibalism in any form. Joe, please do not eat me. Oh, that's great. That's great. You guys are a hoot. So what do we have? We have 21 people up late tonight chatting from all over the place. I'm glad to see you all. It's about 9 o'clock my time. I'm still early on. The girls are still running around. Some of them are getting picked up, but yep, here's your sign. Yeah, if you have to have a sign not to eat your neighbor, you might be a redneck, right? I don't know. You might be a cannibal. So, yeah, Jeff Foxworthy, pretty funny guy. If you ever mowed your yard and found a car, you might be a redneck. Pretty funny stuff. Tastes like chicken. You guys are awful. Stop it. Sherry V, I don't know anything specific about beet greens, but I think greens like mustard greens and other greens are good. I don't know if there's anything special about beet greens. Maybe if you find out, you can let us know. So that's interesting. I I don't eat a lot of beets, and I keep getting tempted when I go to the produce section to pick up some beets, but I don't know any good ways to make beets, so I need to learn. They're probably really good for you. Fake wall from Mary Beth. Pickled turnips are awesome. Make them all the time. Interesting. Lots of sodium though, right? So if you have congestive heart failure or high blood pressure, you want to avoid a lot of eating too many pickled things. We have some fresh pickles in the fridge. I had one little pickle today. I don't remember what they call it, stem or piece, or where you have a section of a pickle. What do you call that? There's a name for that. Let's see. Miles of Ocean, pickled beets I've had before. They're delicious. Red cabbage. So you're saying, Karen, put beets and red cabbage in vegetable broth and cook them together? Yeah, Kuru is caused by a prion, which is not a true virus. It's like a part of a virus. And it's very similar to mad cow disease. Spear, that's it, Karen. Thank you. I had a pickle spear. That's right. Completely useless trivia from you. Oh, yeah. Rarest disease in the world. Yeah, undercooked human brains. Wonderful. Pickle spears. You guys, thank you. Thank you. Sue, what are you doing up? 10, 9? What is it, 3 o'clock in the morning? Good gravy. Well, you're certainly welcome. Hi. Quick, everybody, delete all your comments about Sue that you said earlier. We don't want her to read that. I didn't even check to see if you were online because I thought for sure you'd be asleep. We had a gaggle of young girls in here earlier, and they were driving me crazy. So I had to get some help from my online friends. I hope you're up, sir. Sue, I hope you're up early and not late. Good gravy. That was a gaggle, wasn't it, Joe? They were a hoot. Oh, of course we love Sue. Sue's awesome. Sue and Wink both. You're up late. My goodness. Why are you up at 3 o'clock in the morning? Bless your heart. Eskimo in Canada, the Eskimos eat meat 10 months of the year. Those that live not far from the Arctic Circle. So it's interesting. I've had some people ask me, why are native Alaskans, I'm not going to use the word Eskimo because apparently that is some kind of pejorative term. So we're supposed to say Inuit peoples or Native Alaskans. I don't know. They asked me if eating meat so bad, then why are Native Alaskans so healthy? And all they eat is blubber and seal meat and all that. And the answer to that question is they're not healthy. They don't have a long lifespan. They have lots of disease, and they have diabetes, but it doesn't manifest until they eat carbohydrates. So as long as they don't eat carbohydrates, they don't have a sugar issue. It's very interesting, but they're not very healthy. And this idea that they live long, healthy lives is an absolute myth. Yeah, we had gingerbread houses all over. You just have too much energy, Sue. Are you napping in the afternoons or something? Karen on Facebook, let me tell you, my Facebook channel is a public channel that's not managed by me. And so if you see comments that look like they're coming from me on Facebook, they're not. If you see comments from me that are just real vague or non-specific on the main YouTube channel, they are not. They are not me. Those are handlers. This is me. If I go on and I type out a really long answer about something, then that's probably me, because I do sometimes check, especially if it has to do with the Kroger pharmacy video. Those are all from me. But most of the regular stuff that they're putting out using my videos is those comments and thank yous and things are not me. So If you want to talk to me, come over here and ask me a question, and I'm happy to answer. In fact, if you ever want to talk about a video, if you have a question about a video that you've seen that I've done that's on one of the other channels and you want to talk about it, I'm always open to that. Yeah, I know Eskimo's offensive. People definitely need more to do to get upset about. We have a lot of fun in our clinic. We tease each other about who we are, and I get called, cracker and white boy, and I love it. I just think it's funny, and we make fun of each other, and we have a real close relationship because we've all learned to accept who we are. And I'm hoping that we get to demonstrate some of that if we actually do get a television program. And so we're gonna try to use it as a venue or use it as a medium to let people know that we have Vietnamese people, we have Hispanic people, we have African American people, we have black people, white people, brown people, yellow people. We're all kinds of people. And we love to tease each other about who we are, and we break down all of those walls, and we're actually very close because of that. Yeah, you should have used Inuit. I think if you just say Native Alaskans, the production company that's working with me, they also do a television program called, I think it's called The Last Alaskans. And I said, I want to be on that show. Can you get me out there? And they said they would see what they could do. I said, surely somebody out there is going to have a problem, and you're going to need to fly me out to Alaska, out into the bush country or whatever they call it, way out into the tundra or whatever it is. Believe it or not, the tundra in Alaska is a desert. How many people, raise your hand if you knew the tundra in Alaska is a desert? Let's see. I see 1, 2, yeah, several hands. Yeah, it's a desert because they don't get enough rainfall. They don't get enough precipitation. So even though it's cold and frozen, it's actually a desert. Very interesting. Indian is pejorative. We now say Native American or Native people. You used to be called mayonnaise face. Yeah, that's we no longer do that. Let's see. Native American. Somebody at work sued because she said she was fired because of her race. Everyone was interviewed, and when they asked us what we were, just about everyone said American. One girl had to call her mom while the guy waited to figure out what her ethnicity was. Her lawsuit was thrown out. Oh dear. Raised hand. Good. Not I. You were stationed in Alaska twice. Were you far up north, Linda, or were you in like southeast or even Anchorage? I think Juneau, they say Juneau, Alaska is the only state capital in the United States that's not, you cannot get to it by land. You have to either fly or take a boat. It's the only one. I heard that. I don't know if that's still true, but it might be. Yep, we're still talking. You guys are still messing around, huh?
There's only 2 of us now.
I know, there's a lot less.
You're stuck with us all night.
Let's see. Strange looks and rude comments. Well, just got to let people be dumb and ignore them, I guess. Native Inuit of Canada would probably be offended being called Alaskan Inuit. Mediterranean is supposed to have the most healthy diet in the world, mostly plant-based, but eat fish. I don't know who says Mediterranean is supposed to have the most healthy diet, but they don't have the same blue zone as you heard the other day from Alicia. In some areas they do, but they eat less fish. So you look at, if you want to see who are the healthiest people, and your measurement might be who lives the longest and has the least disease as your measuring point, then you would point to the Seventh-day Adventists in Loma Linda, California. You would look at the Native people of Okinawa, and they eat very little fish. They use fish like a condiment. So they use a small piece of fish maybe once a week. And Abby, stop that. And they'll spread that out amongst a family for flavoring. Okay, that's inappropriate. Don't grope people.
Oh, I wasn't groping.
Yeah, well, it makes people uncomfortable. Okay, it's the bottom thing. Okay, sorry, had a girl thing to do here. Yeah, you're making people uncomfortable. All right, let's see. Supposed to have the most healthy diet in the world, mostly plant-based, but eat fish. Those that are healthy in the Mediterranean, they eat very little fish. And that's why the Mediterranean diet is being promulgated here in the U.S. as a healthy diet. But, of course, we Americanize it, and then we tell people eat lots and lots of all of this stuff, and you'll be healthy, and it doesn't work. Antarctica, largest desert in the world. That's probably true. Anchorage, yep, okay. That earthquake they had recently was a scary one. Was that one down there in New Zealand, Joe? Still true, boat or plane. Yep. Hi, Deborah. Okay. Got lots of hellos. Oh, a seeker has walked on a glacier and got yourself stuck in a glacier silt. Stuck past your ankle. Wow. Did somebody have to come chip you out? Did they have to, use some kind of spike and hammer to break the ice? Or did they just pour some hot water on it or something? Your uncle was an apple farmer, lived to be 97. I think it's true, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Kids keep you young. I'm not feeling that, Sherry. Oh, they had a big one in Alaska. Alaska has a lot of earthquakes. Yeah, very common in Alaska. Some of the worst earthquakes, recorded earthquakes in the history of the world have occurred in Alaska. So yeah, they're on some large fault lines. And you all in New Zealand have a lot of earthquakes. I know you do. You're used to them. So you guys live in, you build your homes out of wood because that absorbs the energy from the earthquake, right? Don't you build more structures out of wood, say, than you would out of concrete and things like that? You're more likely to have wood outer wall and things like that because they can flex and move better. Farming kept him young. Okay. You had your aunt pull you out. It's like quicksand. Oh, okay. So that's interesting to me. So it was like a slush you got stuck in. Very interesting. Several moose addicted to McDonald's. They'd line up the drive-thru. That's funny. That is really funny. What did they do? Did they just throw them some food to get them to run away? What do you do with moose in the drive-thru? If you have more than one moose, are those meese or are they mooses? I don't know anything about mooses or meese. I think they're probably mooses, or maybe it's like deer. Maybe it's already plural. Apple a day keeps the doctor away, but only if you throw it hard enough to have good aim. I think dried apples are probably still really healthy. Yes, especially if they keep their peel. Good. No, wood, brick, concrete doesn't matter, but they do have to be earthquake compliant. Interesting. Okay. More than one moose is moose. Sue's great grandmother lived to be 98. She survived on being a wicked Victorian. Okay, so if you're really just mean, then all rules don't apply to you. Just mean people just live really long. I've learned that. If you're really just ornery, you're going to live a long time no matter what you eat, I think. Right, if you have one single sheep, it's called a shoop. That's right. I believe that's right. Yeah. You just have to wait your turn. Wait, there is nothing wrong with apples. No, Joe, we're not saying there's something wrong with apples. Are you trying to say my apples aren't what they ought to be? What line is that from? You guys know. Family farm left to your cousin, but in the family since the 1890s. Wow. Mean people have vinegar in their veins. That may not be true. I'm not sure. Deer is deer, and I hear people say deers. Not around here, you don't. We know here because we have deer, but we don't have moose. We have deer. We have a regular deer season here, deer hunting season. In Texas, we have to manage our deer population. If we don't, then we have starvation that occurs, and if we don't, then we get a lot of dead deer on the road because they get hit by trucks and cars, and that is a bad day if you hit a large deer on the road and you're cruising at about 65 miles an hour. So we do hunting here. They start out with a few days just for bow hunters. I think the first week is just for bow hunters. And then they open it up for other kinds of hunters after that for a short season. And they calculate the season length and the bag limit, so to speak, based on the population. We do very careful recording of the deer population in Texas, and so it's managed. Deborah, I don't know your hubby. I hope he makes it. I'm worried about him. Yeah, but some of those grannies that were so mean, they used to drink a lot of moonshine too. So you got to take that into consideration. Wow, they had TB in the deer? That's pretty wild. I did not hear about that, Robin. Yeah, you hit a moose. Well, hit a moose or one thing that we get here is we get cows that get out onto the road. And that's a tragedy waiting to happen because you hit an 800-pound animal. It's a lot like hitting a telephone pole. So over the last number of years, I've made many calls to 911 early in the morning because there'd be a steer or a cow or a bull or whatever, out. And I've often waited for a police officer to arrive with lights because that's a tremendous hazard. I mean, we don't want to see an innocent animal get killed for nothing. But at the same time, we don't want a person to be injured. And so we try to, we watch out for that stuff. Wow. A lot of dead deer on the side of the road, just a short drive. So hunting, ethical hunting practices as a manner of conservation is smart. It's good for the deer population. It keeps them from starving in the winters, and it keeps them from getting hit on the roads. I've never met a kangaroo, Joe. So are kangaroos mean? Are they mean, Joe? I've heard that they can be mean. Kangaroos usually hit back. Well, a lot of our cattle here will have ear tags, so they're able to find the owners. And sometimes it can be something as simple as, a car that night swerved off the road and hit a fence and then just drove off and didn't do anything about it, and the animals will wander out. So they don't really hold it against the cattle owner if something like that's happened. If they haven't kept their fences up, of course, that's different. That's a liability. So they are mean. Kangaroos are mean. Well, that's interesting. Now, what's this whole thing that I used to read about kangaroo boxing? They don't really box, right? Don't they just jump up and kick you? Oh, that was sad, Kathy. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, hitting a cow on the road is no fun. Yeah. I don't hunt. I have a business partner. We own some ranch land out in West Texas. He manages it, and he hunts it. And he used to send me a lot of deer meat every year, a lot of deer sausage and that kind of thing. And this will be the first year I won't get any because I don't want it. But I have no problem with the proper management and hunting of deer. Because I think conservation is important, and I think that keeping the population in check is important too. I'm going to skip that one, Sherry. Let's see. Wild kangaroo hit. Yeah, that's a big problem that we have now are feral hogs. In Texas, there is no hog season. Hogs are not considered native. The feral hogs. We do have a native hog called a javelina, or a native pig that does live in Texas. It's called a javelina. But the feral hogs that are basically crossbred, they're wild hogs that crossbred with domesticated hogs, and they grow to be enormous. They're very aggressive. And their hunting is encouraged because they destroy crops, they kill small animals, and they're an absolute nuisance. And so they're a lot like vermin. And so you can actually go on hog hunts and things like that. And a lot of people will eat the hogs. They don't just kill them to kill them. They do eat them. So they get the fresh bacon and ham and all that they want. Anyway, hit a skunk before. That's no fun. Yeah, I wouldn't want to mess with a kangaroo. Here's a link. I'm going to clear it, make it okay. Joe's in New Zealand. Maureen, a lot of people do wreck their cars to avoid hitting animals. And, you know, I don't care about the car, but I care about the people in the car. I think sometimes it's a judgment call. How big is the animal? If it's a squirrel and there's oncoming traffic, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to swerve and put my life and somebody else's in danger. Unfortunately. So I think you make a judgment call, try to hit the brakes and give them a chance to get out of the way. All right. In 7 generations, the domestic hogs will revert to a wild state. Interesting. Very interesting. Huh. Very interesting. I have never heard that before. Somebody swerved to avoid hitting a squirrel and killed a family of 4. Well, that's awful. That's just awful. Yeah, I don't want to talk about all right, you know, there are stories, I've heard stories that are true from police officers where they've come up on you know, accidents where an individual has hit an animal, large animal like a deer, but the animal wasn't dead, but came through the windshield and just kicked and kicked and kicked and actually killed the person, kicked them to death. I heard one story about a horse and another with a deer, a large buck, and same story. So yeah, nobody wants to hit a large animal. I think that's awful. I don't know how we got onto this, but maybe we could change the topic. Either that or I need a little bit more whiskey. I don't know. Well, I will say talking about not hitting animals is a lot better than the cannibalism we were talking about earlier. That was wild hogs will eat people. That's the only thing I find sporting about hunting hogs. And I've done alligator hunts before too, or I've done one alligator hunt. I find it a lot more challenging if you're going to hunt an animal that needs to be culled. In other words, the population is being kept in check for a purpose, and that animal can hunt you back. I think it's a lot more sporting. Now, I've been invited to go on hog hunts where they go with dogs and knives. You don't get a gun. You don't get a firearm. And so what the dogs do is they sort of corner the hogs, or they kind of get them up next to a tree, and you have to go up to the hog, and you have to actually you have to do it in with the knife. And what they'll do is they'll wrap the knife onto the end of a pole. So, but if you're not careful, a hog will gore you fast. A group of hogs will kill a person. No, I've never done it. I have no interest in just killing animals to do it. Even when I fish, I let the fish go. Look, I mean, I understand that when you have animals that need to be removed because they're problems, that there are ways to do it. But I think hunting for sport and killing for sport, I don't understand that. I don't get it. It doesn't appeal to me. It's a little repulsive. Certainly, I think you can make a case for when there's conservation involved and you need to lessen a population and and an animal is going to be killed and it's going to be eaten. I think you can make a strong argument that that's okay. I think I could do that, but I've never gone on a hog hunt. I've been invited, but I know that it's kind of a popular thing because they're problematic. It's not too dangerous to eat the fish in Galveston Bay. We do have a lot of chemical plants and oil processing that comes through there, but the water is carefully monitored. The fish are safe. There are a lot of people that eat quite a bit of fish that they catch in and around the Galveston Bay and so forth. But since I'm vegan, I've got no reason to keep the fish. I enjoy the sport of catching and releasing. I like it. It gets me outside. It gets me out on a boat. Yes, you should double roll your epoxy glaze twice on the drywall. Absolutely. Thank you. Oh, portobello stuffed mushrooms would be awesome as a main dish for Christmas or any other time. I love portobello mushrooms. They're awesome. I'm sorry to hear that, Deborah. I know that there's been a lot of pollution over the years, and it's very unfortunate. I think pollution is stupid. I think polluting, throwing things out on the road, not properly handling garbage, all of that is just ridiculous. Poisoning our water is just plain stupid. And I think that nature will take care of it if we'll just stop doing it. I think the lakes will clean themselves in time. A lot of people get upset because they go out on the beaches here and they get the little tar balls on their feet and they say it's from all the oil rigs out in the Gulf. And that's not true. Guess what? The pirate ships, the old wooden pirate ships that used to roam the Gulf and go into Galveston and New Orleans way before we ever had our first oil rig in the Gulf, they used to use tar balls to waterproof their hulls, guys. Oil naturally seeps up through the base of the Gulf. So I think that there are bacteria that eat the oil that have been out there for a long time eating the oil. And I think that if we'll stop putting the poisons in our oceans and in our streams and in our lakes, that the bacteria and nature will clean that all up. I think it'll eventually get clearer if we'll just stop doing it. It's ridiculous. Let's see. Love to fish. I enjoy that too very much. Don't kill something unless you're going to use what you're going to kill or if it poses a threat or a problem. I think that's a fairly reasonable approach. Stuffed mushrooms are delicious. I agree. Other main dish suggestions. How about baked or grilled cauliflower and broccoli, or grilled Brussels sprouts? You cut them in half. You sprinkle a little spice on them, and you bake them or grill them. They're good. How much tuna is safe to eat in a week? I don't know what the number is, but I usually recommend that people don't eat more than 1 can a standard little, I don't know what it is, a 2.5 ounce or 3 ounce can, whatever they make those in, not more than one of those a week. God will punish those who ruin our earth. Well, Deborah, let's hope so, right? Let me see. Oversized button mushrooms. I did not know that. I just know that they are really delicious, meaty tasting mushrooms, and I like them. And Sue likes them too. She says yummy. When someone hit a deer here, the police will call a family in need and give it to them. Do they have it properly butchered? That's very interesting to Maureen. See, here, if you kill a deer with your car, it's illegal to harvest it. Even if it's deer season, it's illegal to kill a deer. It's illegal to kill a deer with a vehicle and then throw it in the back and take it home and skin it. That's actually illegal. I don't know why, but it is. There's nothing wrong with wine. Wine, pork stuffed mushrooms. No pork. No. Maybe if you want to stuff something in there, you could stuff a little tempeh might be good, or any other soy-based kind of product could be good. Soy curls could be good. Good night, Deborah. Good night. Good night. Eggplant. There's a great idea. You can find vegan pork substitute, which is basically going to be bean curd. Okay. Let's see. Grilled zucchini is always a great idea. I'm way behind, huh? Love Brussels sprouts boiled. I don't like them broiled. I don't think I've eaten them raw. I like them grilled. Just the mushroom with some olive oil, garlic, and vegan cheese, I think she means. Yes, you can do that. Sue loves her vegan cheese. I tried a little vegan cheese in a block yesterday, Sue, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. Bad with names. We'll do. Okay. A lot of grocery stores that will butcher them for free. Here you have to go to a special processing center that does game. It can't be processed in the same place where they process wild pigs. I'm sorry, where they process beef and pork. Those are done separately in specialized processing centers. So there are places where you can take your deer or your wild boar or your pheasant or your goose or your ducks or your whatever you've killed, turkey, and they will process them for you, or your alligators in that case too. Unless you get a roadkill permit. Real Ruler, I think you're putting me on, man. I don't think you can get a roadkill permit. There you go, Linda. I believe that's a good idea. What'd you make, Sue? Did you make a really good supper? Is it true that soy can affect the thyroid if you already have a thyroid problem? I am not aware that that is true. I do not have patients that come in that adopt a whole food plant-based diet that I have to make big adjustments to their thyroid because they're eating soy products. There's a lot of misinformation out there, I think, about soy. Soy is a fine product. Well, unfortunately, in Texas, if you hit a deer, you can't use it. It has to be wasted. So, and I'm not sure why that is. It may be safety issue, things like that. I don't know. Has to be for what you kill for yourself, though. That's interesting. I've never heard of a roadkill license. I'm still pretty sure you're putting me on. Cousin hates soy because family members had cancer and says stay away from it. Okay. Question for Sue. Okay. I'll leave that alone. Roadkill tags. Okay, thank you. One of your doctors said it did good. Said it did. Good to know. No, I don't think soy is a problem. I think you can do a lot of research about soy, and I think it'll change your opinion about soy. There are lots of cultures where they eat tons of soybeans, tons of soy products. These people do not have higher risk of cancers. They don't have thyroid diseases. So I think that a lot of what we're reading about soy and so forth is bunk. I think a lot of it's bunk. There you go, Robin. Soy is wonderful. There are many over-processed okay, yeah. I mean, if you over-process a food, then yeah, it's not going to be as good. You do know that you can shoot a deer out of season if it's in your garden eating your vegetables, but you have to leave it there. I was told by a game warden. I think you better check with your state, game, fish and game and wildlife department before you kill animals that are eating your vegetables, especially deer. Laugh out loud. It's not a license. You can't go hunting with your car. If you hit a deer and want to keep it, a cop has to give you a tag in order to keep it legally. Okay, there you go. Now that's more believable anyway. I didn't think you could get a roadkill license. It is illegal to shoot from the road in Texas. That's absolutely right. It's also illegal to shoot across a road in Texas. And it's illegal to shoot across a property line in Texas unless you have permission to do so from the owner of the other property. Many of the workout channels I subscribe to say soy lowers testosterone. Is that a bad thing? I'm still talking to people about the global warming. Everybody's upset about global warming. If the planet heats up 2%, we're going to have the ocean rise about 6 inches or something, and all the ice is going to melt, and we're going to have all this new cropland in Canada and the old Soviet Russia, all that, and we're going to have all new. I mean, we're going to have places to grow everywhere. Are we sure that global warming is bad? I just want to throw that out there. Okay. Reading up on the omega-3s and omega-6 is quite interesting. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. Well, you're welcome, Nancy. It's the ratio that they talk about that's so important, your ratio of 6s and 3s. You should have a much higher ratio. You should have a higher 3s to 6s, and when you eat lots of animal products, you have higher 6s than 3s generally, and that's where the fish oil comes in because it boosts your 3s and improves that 3 to 6 ratio, and that's for our animal eaters. After I'm done talking roadkill. I didn't bring up the roadkill. If you want to build muscle, isn't lower T an issue? When you say lower, how low are you talking? Why would you want to build muscle? Is there a reason for having big muscles? Are big muscles healthy? Are they safe? Can you be really built and have 50 pounds of extra muscle? And is that still not overweight? I challenge you, Real Ruler. If you are overbuilt, can you not develop congestive heart failure? Can you not develop peripheral edema? Can you not develop vascular issues? The answers to all of those things are yes. I had a patient not too long ago who was obviously well into bodybuilding, and I told him he was obese, and he said, "In what planet?" And I said, "In this one." I said, "You're not healthy. You think you are, but you're not." You look at these bodybuilders, and Arnold Schwarzenegger may be the exception, but you go back and you look at the famous bodybuilders from the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, and a lot of these men, and some women too, they've developed cancers. They're sick. They've developed diabetes. They're very sick. They're not healthy people. So unless your testosterone is low in the first place, it shouldn't be an issue. And when I have male patients who come in with low testosterone, if it's not really low, I won't treat it. And by really low, I mean less than 200. If they've got a testosterone level of 250 and they think normal is 275, and so they want testosterone shots, I tell them, no, I don't do it. I don't think it's safe. It's not worth the risk, because when you start using testosterone and you build your testosterone level up, you can actually increase your risk of getting ill. I had a patient who came in last year, looked great. He was in his 60s, he was using testosterone through one of the low T centers in the area. So I checked his testosterone level, and I did his physical exam. His exams, everything looked great. His heart was great, lungs were clear, chest X-ray was fine. He had a beautiful EKG. I got the labs back the next morning. His testosterone level was over 1,500, which is about 5 times higher than what was normal for his age. And so I called I put a call in. I had the nurse. I said, call him, get him on the phone. I want to talk to him because they're over-treating. Either they're over-treating him or he's abusing his testosterone. Well, unfortunately, he had died that night. He had a stroke and died. And it was because of that testosterone level. Don't kid yourself. Hormones are dangerous. Don't play with hormones. Don't play with these hormone releasing or enhancing products that you can get over the counter and all that kind of stuff. This is not safe. Okay. If you want to get in shape, go out and exercise. Bruce Lee was in fabulous physical condition and he did not have a huge body. Okay. You don't have to do that to yourself. Methane is definitely more damaging to the environment than CO2 emissions or CO emissions. CO is carbon monoxide. CO2 is the greenhouse gas. CO2, if we stop producing all CO2 emissions in one day, within 18 months, the CO2 levels on the planet would go back to normal. It only takes the Earth 18 months to get rid of CO2. However, it takes the Earth 20 years to get rid of the methane. Cows are the problem, folks. Cows are the problem. I'm doing fine. No Coke Zero. I haven't had any. I am having a little Jim Beam, a little sip of that tonight, Friday night. So I'm not fasting. So this is a whole food, plant-based product right there. So a little sip is fine. Toning is good. Bodybuilding is not good. So that's my answer on that. If your testosterone is low and it's causing you symptoms, if it's very low and you're an older man, then you need to address it because it can lead to osteoporosis. But other than that, we don't need to worry about testosterone levels. This is unnecessary. BAI, isn't that just like a flavored water product, Maureen? I thought it was like a flavored water or juice or something. I think I have tried it, and I think they had lots of different kinds. Yeah, the man who was paralyzed for 2 days because he was taking a weight loss medication along with supplements, ended up with a stroke that, fortunately for him, it resolved. So he got his ability to move back. This is not a game with these things. Anyone here seen the adult animated show Brickleberry? No, Real Ruler. I hope it's appropriate. I don't have a problem with corn. I put it in the list of starches. So it's something that I eat, but I don't eat a lot of. No, corn. Oh, I see. No, this is not corn whiskey. I didn't make this. This is well, I don't know what they make Jim Beam from. I don't care. I just sip on it. Yeah, plant-based whole food Jim Beam. It is. Cows are not going to take over the world because we can eat them as fast as we can grow them. Oh, goodness. 5 calories a serving. Oh, wait. I'm lost. Jameson there. There you go. It's vegan. There you go. I like Jameson. It's okay. It's got a good taste. I don't think giraffes are going to make it, Joe. I don't. I think that in our lifetimes, we may see our last giraffe. Unfortunately, I think a lot of these game animals are just going to be crowded out unless we turn part of Africa into a giant animal preserve with big game fences and armed guards all the way around it. I don't think they're going to make it. Yeast is key. Well, they when you make bourbon and you distill it, and I'm not going to admit this, but I may know more about distilling spirits than I'll lead on to. The yeast is eliminated in the distillation process. Cows are aliens, and their brethren come back and enslave mankind. That does sound kind of funny. Well, here's to Brickleberry and cows coming back, taking over mankind and turning us into slaves. There you go. Sorry about the giraffes. I'm sorry about the leopards. I'm sorry about the cheetah, but I don't think they're going to make it. Okay, we chat about booze, giraffes, and a really odd TV show. I think if it's after 9 o'clock in Texas, I think you're allowed to talk about whiskey. I think it's in the state constitution. Okay, so where you are, if you're in other parts of the world right now where you're not allowed to talk about booze because it's not late enough, then you'll need to tune out and come back later or watch the replay when it's appropriate. Okay, so let's talk about alcohol. Y'all want to talk about alcohol? I think alcohol is important. Yeah, we did talk about cannibalism, deserts, and roadkill. Thank you, Real Ruler. I know we can count on you to keep us, either keep up with what we've talked about or keep us off track. So there's a lot of research out there. If you have wondered or if you've heard about wine or beer being healthy or unhealthy, let me clear that up for you tonight. If you drink 1 to 2 glasses of beer or wine a day, it is considered heart healthy. 3 or more is considered unhealthy. Okay? So if you have wondered, should you have another drink? That is how you answer it. If you want to have one drink, I think a small amount of whiskey, bourbon, or scotch is equivalent to a couple of beers or a couple of wines. So I have no problem with that at all. I don't think it. I haven't talked to anybody who's in the vegan world that is actually out there marketing programs and things like that that believes that wine or beer is a problem. I've had some of them say they don't agree with the spirits, but as far as I'm concerned, basically, if you take the alcohol out of wine, all you're having is a little grape juice. So what's the difference? And my answer is there isn't any. So there you go. Jack Daniels is disgusting. I don't like it. I can't stand Jack Daniels. It's awful. Jim Beam is so much better. There you go. Team Jim Beam right there. Okay. It is not my favorite bourbon, but it is a favorite bourbon. I do like Maker's Mark, and I like Weller's. They're what about no alcohol being heart healthy? There's no problem with no alcohol, but if you drink 1 to 2 glasses of wine or beer a day, it is actually healthy. Okay, so does that mean not having any is not healthy? No. It just means that it is healthy if you have some. Check the website above. Not all are vegan. I think that you could be perfectly safe in disagreeing with our discussion about whiskey being heart healthy. That's fine. I used to like Crown Royal. I don't like it anymore. It's I guess my taste has changed. It tastes too acidic or too acrid for me. There you go. Can save and have 14 in one night once per week. Asking for a friend. Okay, the answer is no. Stephanie, please come back. I don't think I've seen you before, but that was awesome. I love it. It's easy to find vegan alcohol, but you have to do some research since beer and wine can be processed using animal products such as blah, blah, blah. Really, I didn't know that. Okay, so if you're going to drink beer, make your own. If you're going to drink wine, make your own, right? I think in Texas, you can brew. You can either brew or create up to 200 gallons of wine or beer a year without any kind of license whatsoever. It's completely legal in Texas. So, hi. Okay, so you're new here. You're welcome. Obviously, we like to talk about health and nutrition, and so tonight we're focusing on things not to do, like drink 14 beers on Saturday and think that equates to an average of 2 a day. It's not the same thing. Blah, blah, blah. Very easy to make your own. Okay. Only drink when I'm on a cruise, maybe twice a year. Well, that just means one thing, Linda. You need to take more cruises. Sue, you used to make your own, but you can put on a lot of weight if you drink too much. Yes, you can. So remember, when you drink beer or wine, those are to be considered starches. You need to put those in your starch category. So less than 10% of your diet should be starches. I don't know what Alicia was talking about when she was saying oils and so forth. You can't separate your oils out from your vegetables. You're going to have a little bit of oil in every vegetable. So no, I disagreed with that. Fish swim bladders, known as, is in glass, used to make the beer uncloudy. That is weird. I've never heard that, Karen. You clearly just heard 10% of your diet can be beer, okay? As long as it's not more than 2 glasses, you are absolutely correct. Crushed ice, milk, vanilla, ice cream. Stop it. We're not having ice cream here. That drink that Alicia spoke about is fermented, and I felt like I was drinking wine. Well, if it was fermented, it may have alcohol in it. Fermentation can cause alcohol. That's one of the byproducts of fermentation. And just a little note: the reason that when you make beer, you only get about a 10% alcohol. If that were 5%, 5 to 7% alcohol, I'm not sure, is because the yeast that are used to make the beer die when the alcohol content gets too high. So that's the problem. And that's why when you do spirits, when you make your own moonshine or your own homemade whiskeys and things like that, you use a different kind of yeast that can actually tolerate a much higher alcohol level. And then when you distill it, all you're doing is you're bringing that alcohol concentration up. And then if it's double and triple distilled, then you can actually develop a product that's somewhere around 90% alcohol fairly easily. And there's another name for that, and it's called poison. And even when I used to make it for fun, I would always dilute it down to 110 proof because I didn't want anybody to get sick that drank it. What about gelato? Isn't that made from animal bones and protein? I think no, gelato. I was thinking of gelatin. I think gelato is vegan. Somebody agreed with me on that. Those gelatos I do not think contain animal products. Obligated to have a glass. Cheers, Stephanie. There you go. Moonshine is or was nice. You can buy moonshine now. That moonshine, you can just go right to your liquor store and you can get moonshine now. So there are lots of manufacturers. It starts with a K. It's good. That's all I know. You can also add chemicals to kill the yeast. I don't put any of that blanking crap in your wine, though, if you run the risk of the bottles exploding if I bottle it too soon. Interesting. I'm not a brewmeister. You don't even like Veer. Well, that's a shame. I'm a big fan of Veer. Not real moonshine, Dr. G. Oh, yeah, real moonshine. Yeah, ice cream made with goat milk. I have had some gelato that was all vegetable. They make some that you can get at some of these places that sell it. They'll have vegan options, and I have had vegan gelato that was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And I think, Karen, you're talking about, when you talk about the beer and the animal product, you're talking about commercial beer, right? You're not talking about like homemade beers and things. You like White Russians, the drink, not the person. Well, that's not very nice. I'm sure there are a lot of really nice White Russians out there, and Black Russians too. Hey, Karen, no taking your messages back. I see that. You said something and then you took it back. That is illegal tonight because it's 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, it's illegal to retract your messages, especially if you've had wine. All right. We got you. No, Joe, I imagine it's not 10 p.m. What time is it there, Joe? You guys are too funny. 4:53 p.m. Saturday. Okay. Okay. You don't like wine, Karen? Is it just certain kinds of wine or any wine? I'm not a big fan of champagne, but I like champagne with a little of that Chambord in it. That's good. I like that. But I do like a red wine. I don't like white wine. It's too dry. I like that banana ice cream stuff where you just take frozen bananas and you grind it up. I think those are fantastic. You're not supposed to be drinking wine at age 3, Joe. Just sorry you had a bad experience at age 3.
Anyway, but there was one company before when they changed
Kombucha is a fruit, right? And kombucha is like a fermented tea. That's what I've learned tonight. Oh, I like sweet red wine. I like a Cabernet Sauvignon. How's that? I'm just reading here. The DW just came in to check on me. I'm probably going to be in trouble for being online till 10 o'clock at night tonight, but I think that since we have a sleepover happening, it's probably okay. Pinot. Okay. 2 glasses of wine a day being heart healthy doesn't count if you add vodka to it. I need to look for that, Sue. That might be fun. Nice cream. Interesting. We have a little machine that makes the frozen ice cream, the frozen banana treat. I can't remember what it's called, but it's pretty good. Strawberry Hills Boone's Farm, drinking it with a straw. Those were the good old days. We called that high school. Yeah, there is a catch to that, Stephanie. Hey, whoa, what is this? How'd you make that red? Can I get really drunk on liquor or wine and be fine the next day? 2 swallows of champagne, I'm some hungover. I can do nothing. Any idea why? What do they say? Liquor before beer, never fear. Beer before liquor, never sicker. I remember that from college. I think that's the only thing I learned that year. So I need to know how you made my name red. Out with it. Out with the secret. Oh, they're great. I'll try to show it to you one time here, one evening, Sue. I'll get the banana ice cream maker thing. Yes, Joe, like that. How do you do that? Tell me how you do that. @ and your name like this. All right, let me try it. Did it work? Doesn't look like it worked. Oh, it only shows up if it's your name. Let me try you, Linda. Does that look red, Linda? I saw your name in yellow, but no. Oh, okay. So it's only to that person. I got it. I got it now. Okay. So this should be red for you, Sherry. Tell me if that showed up red. It got my attention. It did. Okay, see, all right. So I get it now. So only the person that the comment is directed to, their name is red. Okay, got it. And I'm yellow probably when I type something because I'm the host. Okay, I got it. I get it. Good, got it. Thank you. So I can write that down on my list of things I've learned today. Roadkill license, no vodka in the wine. Let's see. Don't kill it unless you're going to eat it. The red is only to... Okay, got it. All caught up. That's right. That's yours in reds, too. Well, guys, I got to tell you something. It is 10 o'clock, and I'm going to say goodnight. I'm feeling fine. I feel wonderful, and I barely even had not even half of this. Oh, no, Joe. Really? Wait a second. Okay. Okay. Like that? I got the volcano. But now it won't go away. Well, good night, everybody. Love you all, and had a great talk. A lot of fun. And yeah, please, no cannibalism. We don't want to do that. And see you again soon. We definitely have Monday night, 6 p.m. as our next scheduled big fun time. Are they asleep? Have they gone? They're in the room. They're making noise. Not asleep. Yeah. We're probably going to be up a little while longer here anyway. So, but
I'm just stealing my husband.
Don't eat kiwis because they're nice people. All right. Remember that. I'm not talking about the birds. I'm talking about the people. All right. We learned that tonight too. All right, Sue, get some sleep. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Are you crazy?
Is Sue still up?
She's still up. What is she? I don't know why she's still up. We got to work on your sleep problem, Sue. All right. Good night, everyone.
Night.
Thanks for the fun.